Greetings, and thank you for joining us on Sleep Science Top 1. Tonight, let us gently drift into the soothing world of coffee, a simple bean that begins as bright fruit on distant trees and blooms into an aroma that quietly fills the air around you. In every small cup lies a quiet story of nature, weather, and human hands working together. A beverage that starts as a vibrant fruit on a thriving plant and transforms into an aroma capable of altering the atmosphere of an entire space. Within that small cup, one can find the essence of botany, climate, and culture intertwined. There exists a palpable chemistry, intertwined with a lingering history, evident in the manner in which individuals come together, converse, and reflect. The journey of coffee spans vast oceans and stretches across centuries. It has influenced the dawn, gatherings, and late-night writings. The nuances can range from bright and zesty to rich and cocoa-like, with those variations taking shape well before the kettle starts to heat. The elements of soil, altitude, rain, and time each leave their distinct marks. Even the water used in brewing weaves itself into the narrative. If this calm exploration of coffee brings you peace, please subscribe to Sleep Science Top 1, or drop a quick thought below what small detail about coffee surprised you tonight. Your support helps more tired minds find their way here. For now, just breathe slow and let go. For the moment, all that is required of you is to unwind. As the shoulders relax and the eyes begin to feel heavy, a journey unfolds through the science and wonder of coffee. Let us commence. Coffee begins as a seed, and through roasting, we unveil its rich aroma. Within a coffee cherry, the element we cherish is the seed of the plant. It is designed to endure. It holds within it the nourishment needed for a future sprout, encased in layers that resemble parchment and a shimmering skin. As we roast that seed, we are transforming it into something more than just a brown morsel. The structure is being transformed, allowing the trapped flavors to finally break free. Heat evaporates moisture. Within the confines of tiny cells, pressure steadily accumulates. The seed expands and grows more fragile, allowing it to be ground down. The sugars and proteins undergo a transformation, revealing new tasting notes that were absent in the raw seed. Then, as you grind and introduce hot water, those freshly opened pathways allow the fragrance to ascend swiftly. Though it is merely a small part of a plant, its presence has the power to transform an entire kitchen. The majority of coffee is derived from two main species, Arabica and Robusta. It resembles the presence of two primary instruments within a worldwide orchestra, each possessing its unique voice and character. One is frequently cultivated for its intricate nature and captivating scent. The other is frequently cultivated for its fortitude and endurance. They may be enjoyed on their own, combined in various ways, or utilized for diverse brewing techniques. This is significant as the variety of species determines the crops farmers can cultivate, the locations suitable for growth, and the potential challenges they may encounter each year. It also influences the expectations of drinkers regarding what they will find in a cup. Some coffees possess a delicate and intricate quality. Some resonate with a sense of depth and clarity. When these names appear on a bag, they reveal a deeper narrative waiting to be uncovered. The narrative unfolds through the lens of genetics, weather, and economics. It is a narrative that explores the diverse taste traditions unique to each region. A cafe menu may present a contemporary appearance. At its core, it frequently relies on this straightforward foundation of two species. Arabica typically presents a sweeter flavor profile and contains lower levels of caffeine. This is one reason it captured the hearts of cafes that seek subtlety. Numerous Arabica coffees tend to exhibit notes of fruit, floral undertones, or hints of caramel. Those flavors can indeed feel vibrant without requiring excessive sugar. The plant exhibits a certain level of fussiness. It favors more stable environments and becomes increasingly susceptible when faced with heightened disease pressure. Arabica emerges as a crop that embodies both allure and uncertainty. Farmers frequently approach it with the care and attention of nurturing a garden, rather than viewing it as a mere factory. Attention to detail in selection and processing is crucial, as even minor errors can obscure the qualities that consumers value. For those who enjoy a drink, Arabica serves as a prompt to pause and appreciate the finer points. One might detect a hint of berry on one occasion, followed by a note of honey on another, even from the same bag, as it rests and reveals its character. Reduced caffeine does not equate to diminished effect. The cup embodies a sense of grace while remaining vibrantly alive. Robusta exhibits a bolder flavor profile and demonstrates greater resistance to pests. Robusta carries a strong reputation for its potency. It has the potential to deliver a more robust body, intensified bitterness, and a bolder character that complements milk, sugar, and ice effectively. In numerous regions across the globe, that strength is seen as an asset. That is the essence. Robusta emerges as a crucial support for farmers enduring challenging circumstances. It typically withstands heat and humidity more effectively than Arabica, and it can easily fend off certain threats that would severely impact more fragile plants. Such resilience influences both markets and habits. It provides insight into the significant role that Robusta holds in instant coffee and in specific espresso traditions where intensity is highly valued. It further clarifies the central role of Robusta in contemporary experiments. Producers are exploring methods to enhance the cultivation and processing, striving for cups that maintain their robustness while also achieving a balance of sweetness and clarity. When people dismiss Robusta, they overlook a narrative of resilience, evolution, and shifting preferences. The flat white became renowned, with the texture of the milk serving as its essential element. The flat white achieved worldwide recognition as it showcases a distinctive mastery of milk preparation. The beverage is crafted with espresso and delicately steamed milk, featuring a lighter foam layer compared to numerous other cafe offerings. The aim is to achieve a seamless, paint-like texture that harmonizes with the espresso, instead of resting on it as a distinct layer. The texture transforms the flavor. When milk is expertly stretched and steamed, it reveals a sweeter flavor and a silkier texture, enhancing the espresso's profile without overshadowing it. The beverage further highlights a harmonious proportion in its dimensions. In certain countries, flat whites are often presented in smaller sizes compared to a standard latte, allowing the espresso to shine through and ensuring that the beverage does not become predominantly milk. The outcome is a coffee that presents strength without aggression and creaminess without heaviness. Its popularity surged as it occupies a desirable niche that appeals to many, particularly those transitioning from black coffee to milk-based beverages. This serves as a reminder that skill can forge an entirely new realm of ease. Typically, each cherry contains 2 beans, nestled closely together. The reason a coffee bean possesses a flatter side alongside a curved side lies in that pairing. Within the cherry, 2 seeds develop in a cozy little chamber, each influencing the other as they grow. A crease forms between them, eventually becoming a renowned refuge for chaff and oils during the roasting process. This geometry holds significance in the real world. The way heat disperses through the bean is impacted, as is the manner in which the bean breaks apart during grinding. It alters the way water moves through a bed of coffee, as flat surfaces arrange and compact in a manner distinct from rounded ones. A tactile surprise awaits as well. As one splits a roasted bean, the narrative of its growth unfolds, etched into that central line. A seemingly ordinary fruit conceals within it a delicate 2-seed cradle, meticulously designed for the emergence of a future plant. A peaberry is a single, rounded seed, unlike the typical pair found in most coffee cherries. Occasionally, a coffee cherry develops just a single seed, and that lone seed flourishes, becoming plump and round, as it occupies the entire space alone. The farmers frequently distinguish these through sorting, as their shape influences the roasting process. A rounded seed distributes heat uniformly across its surface, potentially altering the development speed within the roaster. Some roasters appreciate them for this reason, while others regard them as a mere curiosity instead of a reliable indicator of quality. The true intrigue lies in its ability to serve as a reminder of the ever-changing essence of nature. 2 seeds are typically the standard approach, but the plant sometimes narrates an alternate tale. In the cup, a peaberry lot presents a bright and focused flavor profile, yet the outcomes are influenced by the same elements that define any coffee, such as ripeness and meticulous attention. Nevertheless, the concept holds a certain allure. 1 cherry, 1 seed, 1 opportunity to transform into something unique. The processing of coffee commences within a matter of hours. Every flavor has the potential to become harsh. Once coffee cherries are harvested, their journey continues. The sugars undergo a transformation. The enzymes persist in their activity, and the airborne microbes begin their journey. When the fruit is left to linger in a heap, heat may accumulate within the pile, leading to the splitting of the skin. It is at this moment that unpleasant flavors, such as sour, boozy, or muddy notes, may emerge, even in the absence of any mistakes made by the roaster. Skilled producers approach harvest day as if it were a race against the clock. Cherries are swiftly transported to sorting tables, where any unripe or damaged fruit is meticulously removed. Then the selected approach commences, and time at last seems manageable. The arrival of coffee in a neat bag makes it easy to overlook the urgency that once surrounded it. In those initial moments following the harvest, the fate of the cup is determined, revealing either a clean and sweet flavor or an unrefined edge that no amount of brewing expertise can conceal. The finest coffee frequently emerges from a swift yet serene dance of movements. The foam of the cappuccino acts as an insulator, ensuring that the drink retains its warmth for an extended period. The foam serves not merely as an embellishment, it embodies the very essence of physics that one can savor. A dense layer of milk foam cradles small pockets of air, which, as it turns out, is not an effective conductor of heat. The foam acts as a barrier, reducing the rate at which heat escapes from the coffee below, thereby allowing the beverage to maintain its warmth for an extended period. It also transforms the way the drink engages your senses. The initial sip glides through a delicate, ethereal layer, imparting a gentler and more rounded sensation, even as the robust espresso lies beneath. The foam possesses a unique ability to convey aroma. Aromatic compounds may adhere to the bubbles, resulting in a more intense fragrance at the surface. The aroma of a cappuccino envelops you as you lift the cup, creating a sensory experience that captivates the moment. The artistry resides in the texture of the milk. Well-crafted microfoam exudes a glossy and cohesive quality, avoiding any stiffness or dryness. When it is just right, it provides a framework for the drink, akin to a comforting blanket that also imparts fragrance. Café au lait and latte are distinct due to variations in their proportions and the amount of foam used. Though these 2 drinks may appear alike, their balance reveals a distinct narrative. Café au lait typically begins with brewed coffee as its foundation, followed by the addition of heated milk, allowing the coffee flavor to remain expansive and inviting. An espresso forms the foundation of a latte, which is then complemented by an ample amount of milk, often crowned with a delicate layer of microfoam. The espresso base imparts a concentrated flavor to the drink, maintaining its intensity even in a larger cup, as espresso delivers richness in a compact form. Foam holds significance as well. A denser foam layer alters the way aroma wafts to your nose, transforming the texture of the initial sip, giving it a lighter and airier sensation before the liquid cascades in. The distinction becomes clear when they are placed next to each other. One experiences the sensation of coffee transformed into a creamy delight. The other presents itself as an espresso, elegantly extended into a velvety, well-defined beverage. These represent more than mere names. There exist ratios, textures, and expectations that illustrate how coffee culture transforms a simple combination of coffee and milk into a variety of unique experiences. Espresso, employs pressure to swiftly extract, producing crema from the gases that are trapped. Espresso brews in mere seconds, yet its flavor is intense as pressure compels water to flow through finely ground coffee. The force alters what is drawn into the vessel. Oils blend seamlessly into the liquid, imparting a sense of substance and a smooth texture. In that moment, the carbon dioxide, once confined within the roasted coffee, encounters the hot water and erupts forth. Under pressure, the gas creates small bubbles that transform into crema, a foam capable of capturing the aromas from the surface. Crema transcends mere decoration. It signifies a fresh roast and proper extraction, yet it may also be affected by the coffee and the grinder used. Espresso can be quite harsh. Subtle adjustments in grind size, dose, or tamp can transform the flavor from sharp to muddy. When it is right, the outcome unfolds in intricate layers. One might observe the arrival of sweetness, bitterness, and brightness in a captivating sequence. The brew is swift, yet it lingers on the palate for an extended time. Decaf retains some caffeine, as the process of removal is never entirely flawless. Decaffeination does not operate like a magic switch. It is a meticulous separation issue. Caffeine resides alongside a variety of flavorful compounds that roasters aim to preserve, making the skill to eliminate one element without losing the rest essential. Various approaches address this issue through distinct means. Some utilize water to extract caffeine, subsequently passing that water through filters designed to capture the caffeine, while allowing numerous flavor molecules to remain untouched. Some individuals utilize carbon dioxide under pressure, which can function as a selective solvent. There exist methods that utilize food-safe solvents, implemented under rigorous regulations. Even when executed with care, a trace of caffeine lingers. That is why decaf can still evoke the sensations of coffee within the body, particularly for those who are sensitive. It further clarifies the reasons behind the inconsistencies in decaf. The way choices are processed can influence taste. A remarkable decaf stands as a testament to excellence, not a concession. It stands as a testament to expertise and meticulous craftsmanship. The same bean can exhibit a remarkable range of flavors, influenced by its roast and the water used. Coffee encompasses a spectrum of flavors, each waiting to be discovered beyond the confines of a single bean. A collection of opportunities unfolds through the choices made in brewing. The alterations in roast level highlight which notes emerge prominently. A lighter roast could preserve the vibrant fruit and floral notes. A deeper roast can highlight notes of chocolate, toast, and smoke. Then water enters the scene as a subtle companion, determining what blends seamlessly. Brewing with water devoid of minerals can render the cup lacking in depth, even if the coffee itself is of high quality. Using water that is rich in minerals can diminish the effervescence and introduce a certain harshness. The significance of temperature and contact time cannot be overlooked, but it is often the roast and water that reveal the most unexpected outcomes. This illustrates how two individuals can purchase the same bag, yet recount two distinct beverages. It is not a product of imagination. It is a process of removal. Coffee, a seed, reacts to heat and dissolves in water. Adjust the temperature. Replace the water. The narrative transforms. That is a facet of the marvel. Typically, each cherry contains a pair of beans, nestled closely together. The reason a coffee bean possesses a flatter side alongside a curved side lies in that pairing. Within the cherry, two seeds develop in a cozy little space, each influencing the other as they grow. Between them lies a crease that eventually transforms into a renowned refuge for chaff and oils during the roasting process. This geometry holds significance in the real world. The way heat disperses through the bean is impacted, as is the manner in which the bean breaks apart during grinding. The way water flows through a bed of coffee transforms, as flat faces arrange and compact in a manner distinct from their rounded counterparts. A tactile surprise awaits. As one spits a roasted bean, the history of its growth reveals itself within that central line. A seemingly simple fruit conceals within it a tiny two-seed cradle, meticulously designed for the emergence of a future plant. A peaberry consists of a single rounded seed, unlike the typical pair found in most coffee cherries. At times, a coffee cherry produces just a single seed, which then develops into a plump and round form, thriving in the abundance of space it occupies alone. Farmers frequently distinguish these through sorting, as their shape influences the roasting process. A rounded seed distributes heat uniformly across its surface, potentially altering the development speed within the roaster. Some roasters appreciate them for this reason, while others regard them as a mere curiosity instead of a reliable indicator of quality. The true allure lies in its reminder of the ever-changing nature of the world around us. Two seeds are typically the standard approach, but the plant sometimes narrates an alternate tale. In the cup, a peaberry lot presents a bright and focused flavor profile, yet the outcomes are influenced by the same elements that affect all coffee, such as ripeness and meticulous attention. Nonetheless, the concept holds a certain allure. One cherry, one seed, one opportunity to transform into something unique. Coffee processing commences swiftly, for delays can lead to a harsh transformation of flavors. Once coffee cherries are harvested, they continue to thrive. The sugars undergo a transformation, the enzymes persist in their activity, and the airborne microbes begin to stir. If the fruit remains in a heap for an extended period, heat may accumulate within the pile, causing the skin to split. It is at that moment that sour, boozy, or muddy flavors may emerge, even though no one at the roaster has made any mistakes. Skilled producers approach harvest day as if it were a thrilling competition against the clock. Cherries are swiftly transported to sorting tables, where any unripe or damaged fruit is carefully removed. As the selected approach unfolds, a sense of mastery over time emerges. The arrival of coffee in a neat bag makes it easy to overlook the urgency. In those initial hours following the harvest, the fate of a cup is determined, revealing either a clean and sweet flavor or a rough edge that no amount of brewing expertise can conceal. The finest coffee frequently emerges from a swift yet serene dance of movements. Caffeine emerged as a protective mechanism for plants, repelling insects effectively. For a coffee plant, caffeine serves a purpose beyond a mere morning pick-me-up. It resembles a chemical shield more closely. In the wild, leaves and seeds encounter relentless dangers posed by voracious insects. Caffeine has the potential to interfere with the nerves and behavior of insects, leading to a decrease in their feeding success. It may also hinder the larvae's development on the plant. In certain studies, even minimal doses alter the way insects learn and navigate, which can be significant when a pest attempts to return to the same food source. Coffee plants distribute caffeine throughout their structure. Various tissues possess the capacity to retain differing quantities, indicating a stratified protection that adapts according to the level of risk. Another twist emerges. As caffeine seeps into the surrounding soil, it has the potential to hinder the germination of rival plants. A single molecule stands guard, shielding the plant from above-ground nibblers and below-ground rivals alike. A coffee plant possesses the remarkable ability to thrive for decades, producing fruit year after year. Coffee is frequently regarded as a mere commodity, but the plant has the potential to be a steadfast companion over many years. With proper attention, a solitary tree can continue to yield for numerous years. The harvest does not remain at its peak indefinitely, prompting farmers to prune and manage it in order to harmonize age with vitality. New shoots are carefully directed. Old branches are pruned back. The aim is to maintain the plant's productivity while ensuring it remains sustainable. Coffee imparts the virtue of patience. A young plant requires patience before it can produce a substantial harvest. Thus, its formative years serve as an investment rather than an immediate return. Then arrives the cadence of the seasons. Blossoms emerge, cherries develop, and time flows until the harvest arrives. The gradual passage of time connects coffee to its surroundings. The timing is shaped by weather patterns and altitude, with the farm's work aligning to the rhythm of the plants. The journey of your cup unfolds through years of consistent development. The aroma of coffee emerges from a multitude of compounds created during the roasting process. The aroma of green coffee is subtle and reminiscent of grass, as its full bouquet has yet to develop. As the roasting process unfolds, heat cultivates a collection of volatile molecules that can rise from the bean and waft towards your nose. Some are perceived as toasted nuts. Some propose cocoa, spices, citrus peels, or floral notes. It is striking to observe the number of these notes that remain unadded. They have been created. With the increase in temperature, natural sugars, amino acids, and acids engage in a transformation, leading to the emergence of new aromatic families. The passage of time and the intensity of heat determine which elements rise to prominence. Following the roasting process, numerous compounds exhibit a fragile nature. They diminish with exposure to oxygen, light, and prolonged storage. That is why a newly opened bag can exude such vibrant aromas. Grinding enhances the impact by revealing fresh surfaces. Aroma is an essential element. It serves as a primary conduit of taste. The essence of what you savor is deeply intertwined with what you perceive through your sense of smell, wafting through the warmth of the air. Used coffee grounds still hold caffeine, which can help keep certain garden pests at bay. Even after brewing, coffee grounds retain their chemical richness. A trace of caffeine may linger, as it is a biologically active substance for numerous small organisms. In certain situations, leftover caffeine can serve as a deterrent for pests, leading some gardeners to sprinkle grounds around their plants or incorporate them into compost with the intention of managing pests. The impact varies, and it does not substitute for sound gardening techniques. Various pests react in distinct ways, and the weather may dilute or remove compounds. Nevertheless, the concept is intriguing. A plant compound that evolved to protect a coffee tree retains its defensive qualities even after making its way through your kitchen. It serves as a powerful reminder of the influence caffeine holds as a natural signal. It is perceived as a human stimulant, but in the realm of plants, it serves as a warning that conveys, "Do not consume me." By reusing grounds outdoors, one is conveying that message in a fresh environment. The scent of coffee can persist on fabrics, as the oils tend to adhere to the fibers. The aroma of coffee carries a lightness, yet it is accompanied by oils that have a tendency to adhere to various surfaces. When coffee spills onto clothing, or when beans are carried in a bag, aromatic oils can embed themselves into the fabric fibers and cling tightly. The heat amplifies this observation. A cozy room or a snug jacket can bring forth those scents once more, explaining why the aroma of coffee may seem to resurface later on. Various fabrics retain scents in distinct ways, as the fibers differ in their ability to capture oils and their tendency to release them during laundering. This is also why coffee equipment requires caning. Oils that adhere to filters, grinders, and carafes may become stale and develop unpleasant aromas as time passes. On fabric, lingering coffee can evoke a sense of nostalgia or annoyance, shaped by the context in which it is experienced. Regardless of the approach, it uncovers a deeper understanding of fragrance. The essence of aroma transcends mere floating molecules. It embodies a tangible substance. It lingers, it endures, and it holds onto the essence of a morning long after the cup has been emptied. Single origin signifies a specific traceable region, but it does not inherently guarantee superior quality. It reveals the origins of the coffee in a significant manner, whether it be a country, a region, a cooperative, or occasionally a specific farm. The connection of traceability brings a sense of excitement, linking a cup to an authentic landscape and a genuine harvest, influenced by the weather and soil that nurture the seed. The coffee becomes more accessible for discussion as the flavors embody a distinct sense of place. However, A mere label does not guarantee a delightful cup. A coffee may have a clear traceability, yet still suffer from poor picking, inadequate processing, or improper storage. A different coffee could offer a harmonious blend and a more refined flavor profile. The essence of single origin lies in its narrative and distinctiveness. It serves as a call to experience contrast, to reflect on the changing seasons, and to recognize how a location can communicate through its scents and flavors. It serves as a guide rather than a prize. The size of the grind influences the speed, as water naturally follows the path of least resistance. As water encounters coffee grounds, it acts much like a wanderer on a journey. It seeks out opportunities. When the grounds are coarse, there exist broad passages between the particles. Water flows swiftly, extracting less before it continues on its path. As the grounds become finer, the corridors narrow, causing the flow to slow and the extraction to rise swiftly. A single twist of the grinder can transform a well-balanced cup into a brew that is either sour and thin or bitter and heavy. The consistency of the grind size plays a crucial role in achieving uniformity. A brew bed featuring a variety of particle sizes leads to a blend of extractions, resulting in a taste that may come across as perplexing instead of intricate. Various brewing techniques require varying paces. A French press requires patience with a coarser grind. Espresso requires a certain level of resistance that comes from a finely ground coffee. With each adjustment to the grind, the contact time shifts, all without the need for a clock. It serves as the guiding force behind brewing, wielding more influence than many realize. Finer grinds yield quicker extraction, yet they are also prone to over-extraction with ease. Small particles possess a greater surface area in contact with water, allowing flavor compounds to escape rapidly. That is the benefit. It is, in fact, the snare. With a fine grind, the initial phase of extraction can be delightful and vibrant, but it may transition into bitterness if the water continues to draw. The later compounds may present flavors that are woody, drying, and sharp. Finer grinds may impede flow to such an extent that the brewing process halts, leading individuals to resort to hotter water or extended brewing times, which can exacerbate bitterness even more. The drama is most clearly revealed through espresso. A shot may appear flawless, yet its flavor can be harsh due to the coffee being slightly too fine for that particular dose and machine. The finest brewers approach fine grinding with the same care as one would take when igniting a match. It delivers energy swiftly. It requires oversight and offers recognition for focus. When it is right, the cup exudes a concentrated sweetness. When it is wrong, the coffee seems to chastise you. Burr grinders surpass blade grinders as they generate a reduced amount of dusty fines. A blade grinder operates much like a miniature propeller, shattering beans into a blend of fragments and fine powder. The combination is what allows the same brew to present flavors of both sourness and bitterness simultaneously. The fine dust dissipates swiftly, transforming into a sharpness, whereas the coarser fragments linger, adding a subtle yet incomplete tang. Burr grinders operate in a distinct manner. Beans are crushed between two surfaces, positioned at a precise distance, with the goal of achieving particles that are remarkably uniform. Consistency fosters understanding. The brew transforms into a more predictable and repeatable process. It also provides genuine control when adjusting settings, as the grinder reacts consistently. This explains the reason behind cafes investing in robust burr grinders and how the experience of home coffee transforms significantly when individuals make an upgrade. The distinction lies beyond mere luxury. It is a matter of physics. A burr grinder transforms coffee from a mere chance into a skillful endeavor that you can truly guide. The brewing temperature plays a crucial role, as cooler water results in a diminished extraction of sweetness. Hot water serves as a potent solvent, and the application of heat aids in dissolving the sugars and aromatic compounds that contribute to the satisfying flavor of coffee. When water is excessively harsh, the extraction process can capture flavors before their full sweetness emerges, resulting in a cup that tastes sour, thin, or oddly salty. The influence of temperature extends to determining which compounds take precedence. Brewing at cooler temperatures can highlight more pronounced acidity, while allowing richer flavors to linger in the background. While this may be enjoyable in certain styles, it frequently comes across as lacking when one anticipates a more complete experience. Excessively hot water presents its own dangers, as it can extract bitterness if the grind and brewing time are not properly aligned. The essence lies in understanding that temperature is not merely a backdrop. It serves as a significant tool. It determines the pace at which flavor transitions from solid to liquid. This becomes increasingly significant in chilly settings, where kettles and brewers rapidly lose warmth. Two individuals may adhere to the same recipe, yet achieve varying outcomes due to fluctuations in their brew temperature. When coffee presents a mysteriously weak flavor, the temperature often reveals itself as the concealed answer. Some individuals experience jitters quickly due to the significant variation in sensitivity. Jitters do not signify a deficiency in character. They embody the essence of biology. The sensitivity to caffeine varies for numerous reasons, such as genetic factors, levels of stress, accumulated sleep debt, and individual caffeine consumption habits. An individual who seldom indulges in coffee may experience a swift boost from a modest cup, whereas a habitual consumer might scarcely notice the effects of the same amount. Sensitivity manifests in the body as well as in the mind. Some individuals observe a rapid heartbeat. Observers perceive trembling hands. There are those who experience a sense of unease, even when the day had unfolded peacefully prior to the arrival of coffee. The manner in which one drinks holds significance as well. When consumed on an empty stomach, coffee may have a more intense effect, while sweetened coffee can promote quicker consumption, leading to a more concentrated intake in a brief period. The valuable insight is that caffeine is a matter of personal preference. It can be approached as a dial rather than a challenge. By opting for smaller servings, taking slower sips, and adjusting the timing, one can maintain the advantages while steering clear of the uncomfortable buzz. Coffee has the potential to stimulate stomach acid in certain individuals, particularly when consumed on an empty stomach. For certain bodies, the initial sip serves as a beacon to the digestive system. The stomach receives the signal, preparing itself for the possibility of food arriving soon. When acid production increases, it may manifest as warmth, fluttering sensations, or discomfort. Particularly if the stomach lacks any buffering substances, the impact of this phenomenon shows considerable variation. Some individuals experience no sensation whatsoever, while others become aware of it swiftly with specific roasts or more robust brews. For some drinkers, darker roasts may present a smoother experience. But the true distinction frequently lies in the entire ritual surrounding it. The factors of food, hydration, stress, and sleep can influence sensitivity, varying from one day to the next. The essential lesson is straightforward and relatable. The potency of coffee is undeniable, and the stomach reacts accordingly. When coffee seems to strike too harshly, enjoying it alongside breakfast, lessening its intensity, or taking slower sips can transform the experience while still honoring the ritual. The journey of coffee unfolded across the globe, influenced by trade, religion, politics, and the simple act of habit. The journey of coffee started as a humble local plant, gradually transforming into a worldwide ritual as individuals transported it along the familiar routes they traversed. It journeyed alongside merchants and sailors. It journeyed alongside pilgrims and scholars. It progressed alongside empires that sought precious harvests and reliable revenues. Ports transformed into portals for beans, narratives, and brewing techniques. In certain locales, coffee emerged as a favored substitute for alcohol in social interactions. In various regions, leaders expressed concern over assemblies and sought to regulate them. The beverage continued to triumph, as it aligned perfectly with the rhythms of human life. It complemented the tasks at hand, the exchanges of ideas, and the extended hours of learning. As demand increased, foundations transformed landscapes and labor systems, intertwining coffee with both painful historical narratives and the comforts of daily life. Even the term for coffee transformed as it moved between languages. A humble seed transformed into a worldwide ritual, connecting farms, shipping routes, urban cafes, and home kitchens in an unbroken chain. Coffee houses played a pivotal role in shaping contemporary public discourse, commerce, and the culture of news. In a time long past, cafes served as vibrant gathering places where unfamiliar faces shared intimate conversations in close quarters. A good coffee house provided an experience that transcended mere beverages. It provided illumination, comfort, and a place to rest amidst a wealth of knowledge. In cities such as London, coffee houses emerged as venues where merchants gathered to compare shipping reports and prices. Writers and philosophers engaged in spirited debates over pamphlets and rumors. Information traveled swiftly as individuals shared it vocally and responded collectively in public spaces. Certain coffee houses became associated with particular trades, facilitating the emergence of robust business networks. As time passed, this culture shaped the ways in which communities engage in discussions beyond the confines of churches and courts. It established an area that transcended the boundaries of both home and government. It was known by many, yet felt deeply by one. The echo lingers even now. When individuals gather over coffee to converse, strategize, bargain, or discuss, they are engaging in a time-honored tradition. The cup appears diminutive. The impact on society can be significant. The aroma of coffee captures the brain's attention even before the first sip is taken. The sense of smell is remarkably swift. As the aroma of coffee ascends, molecules waft into your nostrils, connecting with receptors that transmit signals directly to the brain areas linked to memory and emotion. That is why the fragrance can evoke a location, a time of year, or an individual. It has the potential to set the stage for anticipation. Prior to any tasting experience, the mind starts to anticipate what lies ahead. Saliva rises, the focus intensifies, the body readies itself for a well-known sequence of actions. For numerous individuals, this occurs even with a mug that contains no caffeine whatsoever. The scent itself has the power to evoke a conditioned reaction. This is one reason why coffee may evoke a sense of comfort. There exists more than mere chemistry within the cup. It exists as a recurring theme within the psyche. The process of roasting and grinding enhances the aroma, as it unleashes a greater number of volatile compounds into the air. Thus, the initial sip does not mark the start. The experience begins before the expected moment. It begins with a breath, a memory, and a sense of anticipation. The ripening of coffee cherries on the same branch occurs at various times. That one detail transforms the entire narrative of the harvest. On one twig, there exists a deep red cherry, ripe and ready for picking, alongside a yellowing one that requires a few more days, and a hard green one that remains weeks from maturity. When a farm strips a branch in one go, the unripe cherries can impart a distinct, grassy sharpness. Overripe ones may take on a lackluster, fermented flavor. This is the reason why meticulous farms choose to harvest in intervals. They come back repeatedly, selecting only what is ripe for the taking. The process is gradual and costly, transforming ripeness into a matter of flavor preference. The result presents itself as a sweetness that is clean, accompanied by fruit notes that appear deliberate rather than haphazard. Even within the same field, the ripening process can vary significantly, as sunlight and airflow are not uniform from tree to tree. Coffee is not gathered in a consistent manner, like a standard crop. The narrative unfolds through a collection of subtle choices. The coffee plants thrive in the highlands, where the slow growth of Kulanite cherries provides them with the ideal conditions for development. Embracing a slower pace can reveal unexpected treasures. As the nights grow cooler, the plant does not hurry through its development. It allows for an extended period to develop sugars and intricate flavors within each cherry. Consider it more as a gradual simmer rather than a rapid boil. The outcome may yield a cup that possesses a more intricate feel, with a brightness that appears sharp rather than overwhelming. The highlands often experience more significant fluctuations between day and night, which can beneficially challenge the plant. It reacts by enhancing the thickness of cherry tissues and producing more robust seeds. The denser seeds roast in unique ways, often offering rich aromas to those who take the time to craft careful profiles. Indeed, the highlands present their own challenges. The challenging landscape complicates agricultural efforts and hinders the speed of transportation. The weather has a way of changing in an instant. Yet throughout various coffee regions, mountains earned their renown for a purpose. Elevation is not a guarantee of quality, but it can set the stage for coffee that tastes like it had time to become itself. Altitude has the potential to enhance acidity by influencing the development of sugars. In coffee, acidity transcends mere sourness. It is about a bright, lively edge that can remind you of citrus, berries, or crisp apples. Altitude can encourage that sparkle because cooler conditions slow how the cherry matures. With more time, sugars and acids can balance in a way that feels energetic rather than harsh. This is why some high-grown coffees seem to lift off the tongue. The flavors arrive with clarity and then drift into sweetness. Altitude also changes sunlight intensity and cloud patterns, which can influence how the plant photosynthesizes through a season. Even within one region, a difference of a few hundred meters can shift the cup from round and chocolatey to bright and fruit-forward. That is why altitude is printed like a badge on some bags. It is not just a statistic. It is a clue about the pace of growth and about the kind of brightness you might taste when you take that first sip. Shade-grown coffee can support biodiversity when forests are preserved. A coffee farm can be a monoculture field, or it can be a layered habitat with trees above and coffee below. In a well-managed shade system, taller trees protect soil from harsh sun, reduce erosion, and offer homes for birds and insects. Those birds can help control pests. Leaf litter can feed the ground. The farm becomes less like a factory and more like an ecosystem. This matters for taste too, because healthier soils and steadier microclimates can support consistent ripening. Shade systems are not automatically perfect. If shade is too dense, productivity can drop and diseases can spread. The best results come from balance and from local knowledge. Still, when shade-grown coffee is done with real forest stewardship, it can protect corridors of life in regions where habitat is under pressure. Your morning drink can connect to canopy trees, migrating birds, and the quiet work of soil organisms. It can be agriculture that leaves room for the wild. Coffee roots dislike waterlogged soil, so drainage matters hugely. Coffee can handle rain, but it cannot handle drowning. When soil stays saturated, roots struggle to breathe, and the plant weakens from below. That weakness can show up as yellowing leaves, poor flowering, and cherries that never fully develop. Good drainage is like good sleep. You do not notice it when it lurks, but you feel it when it fails. Farmers shape fields to help water move. They use contour planting on slopes, and they choose soils that do not turn into a sealed puddle after every storm. In fatter areas, they may build raised beds or channels to carry excess water away. Drainage also affects flavor. Stressed roots can lead to uneven cherry growth, which can translate into cups that feel muddled. When you taste a coffee that seems clean and steady, there is often quiet engineering behind it. The romance of coffee begins underground. It begins with air spaces between soil grains and with roots that can breathe. Coffee flowers can bloom suddenly, often after rainfall triggers them. For much of the year, the plant can look calm, even ordinary. Then rain arrives, and the next morning, a farm can seem transformed. Coffee blossoms open and bursts, covering branches with small white flowers that can smell sweet and fresh. That bloom is not just pretty. It sets the schedule for everything that follows. The timing of flowering influences when cherries will be ready, and it can create multiple waves of ripeness if rains come in pulses. Farmers watch the weather with the focus of stage managers. A rain at the right moment can synchronize flowering and make harvest more predictable. A scattered pattern can stretch harvest and raise costs. Flowering also signals how sensitive coffee is to climate. When rainfall shifts, bloom timing can shift with it. In the cup, you may never think about flowers, yet those brief blossoms are the first chapter of the harvest story. They are the moment when a year's work becomes visible, almost overnight. One plant can show 2 harvest seasons, depending on local climate. Near the equator, the usual 4-season rhythm does not always apply. Instead, rainfall patterns can create more than one cycle of flowering and fruiting in a year. In some regions, that means 2 distinct harvest periods. It can also mean a long harvest with a clear peak, then a second, smaller wave months later. This double rhythm shapes local life. Labor needs rise and fall twice. Mills and drying patios can be busy, then quiet, then busy again. For roasters and buyers, it can mean fresh coffee arriving in different windows, which changes how supply and taste evolve through the year. It also influences what fresh crop means in different countries. A coffee that is new in one place may be older in another, simply because harvest calendars are staggered. This is part of coffee's global complexity. Even if 2 farms grow the same type of coffee, climate can give them different clocks. The plant follows rain, and people follow the plant. Washed processing removes fruit early, highlighting clarity and acidity. In this method, the fruit is separated from the seed soon after picking, and the sticky layer around the seed is loosened with water and time. What remains is coffee that tends to taste clean, structured, and easy to read. Many people describe it as a cup where flavors feel separated, like instruments you can pick out in a song. That character can be especially striking in coffees with citrus or floral notes, because there is less dried fruit influence clinging to the seed during drying. Washed lots also reveal mistakes quickly. If picking is sloppy, defects stand out. If fermentation is uncontrolled, the cup can taste thin or sharp. When done well, washed coffee can feel like a window into place. You might notice crisp brightness, then sweetness, then a finish that stays tidy. It is not louder coffee, it is clearer coffee, and that can feel like magic when you taste it for the first time. Natural processing dries the whole cherry, often boosting fruity notes. Here, the seed stays inside the fruit while it dries, like a letter sealed in a scented envelope. As the cherry slowly loses water, sugars and flavors in the pulp can influence what happens inside the seed. Many naturals taste jammy, winey, or vividly tropical, and the aroma can be so expressive that it surprises people who think coffee is only bitter. This style can also be risky, which is part of its drama. If drying is uneven, some cherries may rot, while others dry too fast, and that can lead to unpleasant, stale flavors. Producers work hard to prevent that by turning cherries, spreading them in thin layers, and protecting them from rain. When it goes right, natural coffee feels like a different category of drink. It can taste like fruit, and chocolate had a conversation. It can also carry a heavier body that lingers, as if the coffee remembers the cherry it came from. Honey processing keeps sticky mucilage, balancing sweetness and brightness. Honey processing is named for texture, not flavor additives. After the skin is removed, a tacky layer of fruit remains clinging to the seed, and that layer dries with it. Producers can leave a little or a lot, which changes both the work and the result. With more mucilage, drying takes longer, and the risk of unevenness rises. With less, the coffee can behave closer to a washed lot. When done well, honey-processed coffee often lands in a satisfying middle space. It can have the cleanliness of a washed cup, yet it also carries a rounded sweetness that feels soft on the tongue. This method is also a lesson in attention. The seed is coated, and that coating can ferment if it stays too wet. So farmers turn beds and monitor moisture like chefs watching a glaze. The reward can be a cup that tastes lively, then melts into sweetness without feeling heavy or wild. Fermentation can shape flavor because microbes transform sugars into acids. Fermentation sounds dramatic, but it is simply life-doing chemistry. Yeasts and bacteria consume sugars and produce new compounds, including acids and aromatic molecules that can change how coffee tastes. The process can happen in tanks, in open channels, or even inside a drying cherry. Temperature, time, and cleanliness all steer the outcome. Done thoughtfully. Fermentation can add complexity, like a brighter sparkle, a deeper sweetness, or a fragrance that feels more floral. It can also help remove sticky layers during washed processing, which makes drying more even. What makes it fascinating is that it is partly visible and partly invisible. You can measure temperature, you can smell the tank, and you can watch bubbles rise. Yet the most important transformations are tiny and hidden. Two farms can use the same steps and still get different results because local microbes differ. In that sense, fermentation is a fingerprint of place. It is a quiet partnership between farmer and microscopic world, and it can turn good coffee into unforgettable coffee. Too much fermentation creates off flavors, even if roasting is perfect. When fermentation runs too long, the cup can shift from lively to unpleasant. Instead of clean fruit notes, you might taste sharp vinegar, cheesy funk, or a dull, muddy heaviness that crowds everything else out. This is why skilled producers treat fermentation like bread baking. You cannot simply set a timer and walk away. You have to watch conditions and respond. Heat speeds the process. Cool slows it. A tank filled too deeply can behave differently from a shallow one. Even the ripeness of the cherries changes how quickly sugars are eaten. If the coffee crosses the line, roasting cannot rescue it. Heat can smooth rough edges, but it cannot erase compounds that were created earlier. In the worst cases, those flavors get louder after roasting, because aroma carries them straight to your senses. This is a hard truth, yet it is also part of what makes great coffee impressive. A delicious cup is not luck, it is control, restraint, and good timing. The best producers know when to stop, even when the process still seems active. Drying speed matters, because uneven drying can trap unwanted tastes. Drying is not just about getting coffee to a safe moisture level. It is about doing it evenly, so the seed does not crack under stress or develop sour pockets of fermentation. If the surface dries too fast, it can form a hard shell that slows moisture leaving the center. Then the outside feels ready, while the inside still holds water. That mismatch can lead to instability during storage, and it can create strange flavors that show up later as staleness or a rough finish. On the other hand, drying too slowly can invite mold and over-fermentation. Producers solve this with craft and patience. They spread coffee in thin layers. They rake it like careful gardeners. They move it under cover when clouds roll in. They sometimes finish drying in raised beds that let air circulate from below. Drying is where sunlight, wind, and human attention meet. It is easy to think the hard work ends after harvest. For coffee, drying is often where quality is either protected or lost. Storage, humidity, can dull flavor even before roasting starts. Coffee is hygroscopic, which means it trades moisture with the air around it. If green coffee sits in a humid space, it can absorb water, and that changes how it will roast later. A roaster might notice the coffee behaving unpredictably, with heat moving differently through the seed. Even before roasting, humidity can encourage mold growth or musty odors, especially if the coffee is stored too warm. If the air is too dry, the beans can lose moisture and become brittle, which also alters roasting behavior and can reduce sweetness. Good storage is a quiet science. Producers and importers use protective packaging, stable temperatures, and careful warehouses, so the coffee arrives tasting like its best self. This is one reason 2 bags from the same farm can taste different months apart. The journey does not end when the coffee is dried. It continues through rooms and containers where air, time, and moisture keep writing the story. Green coffee is stable longer, but it still ages and fades. Before roasting, coffee is called green because it is unroasted seed. It travels better in this form. Yet time still leaves a mark. Aromas slowly soften, and the cup can lose sparkle, even if nothing smells obviously wrong. Some coffees drift toward papery notes, while others simply become quieter and less sweet. Heat, oxygen, and humidity speed that change, which is why storage is treated like protection rather than convenience. Many producers and importers use dense bags and careful warehouses to keep the seed's chemistry steady. There is also a seasonal rhythm. Freshly harvested coffee can taste lively and structured, while older lots may feel flatter and less distinct. Roasters learn to adjust heat and timing to compensate, though there are limits to what technique can restore. In a way, green coffee is like a paused story. It waits, but it does not stand still. Roasting triggers Maillard reactions, building nutty and caramel notes. When heat rises in the roaster, sugars and amino acids begin reacting in a cascade that creates new aromas. This is called the Maillard reaction, and it is one of the main reasons roasted coffee smells like comfort. It can produce notes that suggest toast, nuts, cocoa, or baked bread. The magic is that these scents are built during roasting, not carried in as ingredients. The pace matters. If the heat climbs too fast, the outside can darken while the inside lags behind. If it climbs too slowly, flavors can taste baked and dull. Roasters steer this turning point by listening, watching color, and tracking smell as it shifts from grassy to sweet to rich. The same batch can move from light and crisp to warm and rounded, with only small changes in timing. That is why roasting is both craft and chemistry. It turns a mild seed into something that smells like a whole cafe. Roasting also drives caramelization, changing sugars into deeper flavors. Caramelization is what happens when sugars break down under heat and rebuild into darker, more complex tasting compounds. In coffee, it helps create that familiar sweetness that can feel like toffee or browned butter. It also deepens color and adds a fuller, richer aroma that stops arriving before the roast looks very dark. This is different from the Maillard reaction, since it focuses more directly on sugars themselves. The balance between these processes shapes how a coffee tastes, and it can be surprisingly sensitive. Push caramelization too far, and sweetness can tip into bitterness. Stop too early, and the cup may taste thin, even if it is bright. Roasters. Think about this the way a cook thinks about browning onions. There is a moment when sweetness blooms. There is another moment when it turns sharp. The best roasts land in that delicious window where depth and clarity meet. First crack is steam pressure breaking cells, not burning. In the roaster, there is a moment when the beans begin to make sharp popping sounds. That sound is first crack, and it is a physical event. Water inside the bean turns to steam as the bean heats. Pressure builds, and the cell structure finally gives way. The bean expands, and its surface becomes more porous and brittle. This matters because it changes how heat moves and how flavor develops from that point forward. Many roasters treat first crack like a doorway. Before it, the bean is still building the foundation of sweetness and aroma. After it, darker and more intense flavors can develop more quickly. It is also a moment you can hear, which makes roasting feel alive and responsive. You are not guessing at a timer. You are listening to a material change. That is why first crack is such a teaching tool. It turns roasting from mystery into something you can sense in real time. Dark roasts taste smoky because more compounds break down. As roasting continues past the stage where sweetness is prominent, the chemistry shifts. Some flavor compounds begin to fracture into simpler molecules, and the surface oils can become more noticeable. This is where smoky, charred, or bittersweet notes can dominate. The cap can feel heavier and more uniform, which many people love because it tastes bold and familiar. It also changes aroma. Instead of fruit and flowers, you may smell toast, spice, and something like campfire. Dark roasting can hide defects in the green coffee, but it can also hide the coffee's original character. That trade-off is part of its appeal. The taste becomes about roast craft rather than origin nuance. Dark roasts often dissolve easily, making the extraction process seem simpler for many home brewers. When individuals describe a coffee as strong, they frequently imply that it has a dark flavor. It is a fervor forged through warmth, and it possesses a dedicated community. Light roasts preserve the essence of their origin, as less of their character is diminished during the roasting process. With lighter roasting, the aim is to exercise moderation. The roaster halts the process sooner, allowing the coffee to retain more of its original essence from the farm, including fruity notes, floral hints, and a refreshing brightness. These coffees possess a surprisingly vivid flavor. Certain cups suggest a hint of citrus. Some propose a delicacy reminiscent of stone fruit or tea. This approach demands greater skill from the brewer. Light roasts possess a denser quality and lower solubility, making them unforgiving to an inattentive grind or a brew that lacks sufficient warmth. When crafted with care, they can evoke a sense of place. The distinctions among regions and varieties become more apparent as the roast steps back from the spotlight. Light roasting does not equate to weakness. It revolves around the importance of specificity. It encourages a careful attention to nuance rather than sheer loudness. For numerous drinkers, the initial encounter with a remarkable light roast becomes a transformative experience. It challenges the notion that coffee's flavor must be bitter to truly embody the essence of coffee. It possesses a flavor that is vibrant, sugary, and profoundly fulfilling. As roasted beans release carbon dioxide over the days, the extraction behavior undergoes a transformation. Once roasted, coffee holds within it a wealth of carbon dioxide, a byproduct of the heat applied during the process. As time passes, the gas gradually and irregularly escapes through minuscule channels within the bean. This truly influences the brewing process. Excessive gas can disrupt water interaction, resulting in inconsistent extraction and a cup that may taste harsh or empty. As the days unfold, the brewing process frequently attains greater stability. Flavors may unfold, revealing sweetness that becomes more accessible. One can observe this phenomenon in the bloom of a pour-over, as fresh coffee puffs and foams, while gas escapes rapidly. Espresso possesses a unique sensitivity, as the combination of pressure and fine grinding enhances every aspect. Roasters frequently use one-way valves in coffee packaging, allowing gas to escape while preventing oxygen from entering. That small valve serves as a subtle recognition of an ongoing existence. The process of roasting continues even after the heat has dissipated. The beans undergo a transformation as they release their essence, and the finest cup may emerge a few days hence. Fresh beans possess the ability to resist water, as the gas trapped within them prevents wetting. As very fresh coffee encounters hot water, the grounds seem to attempt to escape from the brew, creating a captivating scene. That is, carbon dioxide resisting. The gas, trapped within the grind, forms small pockets, creating barriers that hinder water's ability to penetrate, resulting in an uneven extraction process. Certain particles absorb moisture and release their flavor rapidly, whereas others remain dry at their core and add minimal contribution. Brewers create straightforward solutions that evoke a sense of ritual. Pour-over enthusiasts frequently engage in a brief pre-wetting phase, known as a bloom, enabling gas to escape and facilitating water's access to a greater number of surfaces. Observers of emotion brewers recognize a similar phenomenon as crusts swell and form bubbles. This resistance is also the reason why fresh coffee can have an unexpectedly delightful flavor. The aroma is simply remarkable. However, it may not turn out well if you handle it as if it were an older batch. The coffee seems to linger in a moment of anticipation, as if it is still holding its breath from the roasting process. Allow it to breathe, and it will reveal its flavors more generously. Allowing the espresso to rest after roasting can enhance its quality by soothing any excess gas. Espresso is brewed under high pressure, amplifying even the smallest variables. When beans are overly fresh, an excess of carbon dioxide may lead to channeling. The water navigates the vulnerabilities within the puck, swiftly flowing through them while leaving certain regions less extracted. The outcome may present a sharp, thin, or strangely unbalanced flavor. Despite the application of good technique, taking a break is beneficial as it lessens the gas load and allows for a more consistent flow. Many baristas discover the unique character of each coffee. Some are at their finest after a brief pause. Some individuals awaken after a more extended moment of stillness. In this period, the aroma may become more distinct, and the sweetness might seem more accessible. This is not a guideline that supersedes ability, but it serves as a potent tool. It also builds excitement. A coffee may exude an incredible aroma on the first day, yet it reveals its true potential by the 5th day. You are engaged in more than just brewing. The coffee is meeting you at the precise moment it desires to be brewed. Roasting profiles serve as carefully crafted recipes, adjusted to account for the density and moisture of the beans. Two coffees may appear alike in their raw state, yet they respond uniquely when exposed to heat. A rich, high-grown coffee takes its time to absorb heat, requiring a more measured technique. A gentler, less concentrated coffee can warm up swiftly and may veer into bitterness if overexerted. The moisture content plays a significant role, as beans with higher moisture require additional energy at the outset to eliminate water, while drier beans can progress more swiftly. Roasters react with profiles, as a plan evolves in heat and airflow over time. The profile transcends the mere attainment of a final color. The focus lies in guiding the evolution of the coffee throughout its journey. That is why roasting resembles the act of cooking. You make the necessary adjustments for the ingredient. A pace is chosen by you. Your goal is to achieve harmony. Skilled roasters meticulously document their processes and replicate successful methods, while also adapting to the unique characteristics of each harvest as the crops vary from year to year. Ultimately, the profile serves as a connection. It embodies the essence of the farm's harvest, transforming into the flavors that will unfold in your cup. Even the smallest penalties can create a sense of resentment when imposed hastily. Fines represent the tiniest particles in a grind, acting as catalysts for enhancing flavor. Due to their diminutive size, water can swiftly extract them, frequently drawing out bitter and drying compounds early in the brewing process. Fines also move from one place to another. In pour over brewing, the particles can settle into the filter and create a blockage, which slows the flow and increases extraction even further. That can lead to a cup that feels heavy, dull, and excessively intense, even if your recipe appears to be right. Various beans produce varying quantities of fines, particularly when roasted to a darker shade or when the structure of the bean is delicate. Various grinders produce distinct fines, which is one reason why two grinders adjusted to the same size can yield entirely different flavors. Brewers navigate fines through skillful technique. They carefully adjust the pouring to prevent creating a paste. At times, they search for specific styles of brew. It serves as a reminder that coffee transcends mere flavor. It is a tangible substance, and minute particles can influence the entire result. The taste of water is influenced by its chemistry, as the presence of minerals alters solubility and equilibrium. The essence of coffee is largely derived from water, intertwining the qualities of the water with the overall nature of the beverage. Minerals, such as calcium and magnesium, assist in extracting specific flavorful compounds from the grounds, enhancing both sweetness and body. The incorrect combination can yield contrary results. Some water renders coffee flavorless, as though the essence struggles to rise from the palate. Some water can make coffee taste overly harsh, amplifying the bitterness. The chemistry of water plays a significant role in influencing aroma. The aroma of the same beans becomes more pronounced when the extraction is balanced, as the brew transports those volatile compounds to your senses with greater efficacy. This explains why coffee may have varying flavors from one city to another, even within the same cafe chain. This is also the reason why numerous dedicated cafes take the time to filter and remineralize their water. They are not aiming for sophistication, they strive for consistency. Water serves as more than just a neutral backdrop. It possesses a unique, unseen character, capable of making coffee either radiate brilliance or succumb to gloom. Water that is too soft may have a flat taste, as the extraction process lacks the necessary structure. Water with very low mineral content may find it challenging to extract sufficient elements from coffee grounds, particularly those compounds that contribute to the delightful sweetness and fullness of a cup. The outcome may seem hollow, despite the enticing aroma of the coffee. The flavors may seem to linger, yet they feel insubstantial, as though the cup lacks a solid foundation. At times, individuals react by grinding their coffee more finely or extending the brewing time. However, this approach may lead to an increase in bitterness without achieving the desired richness. This type of disappointing cup is particularly vexing, as it lacks any clear defect that would make its shortcomings immediately apparent. It evokes a sense of disappointment. Soft water influences espresso as well, where the proper chemistry is essential for achieving body and balance during extraction. Numerous baristas depict it as a relentless pursuit of their own tail. The coffee consistently eludes a familiar sweet spot. The unexpected insight reveals that a modest amount of mineral content can indeed be beneficial. It aids in the dissolution of flavors, creating a sense of wholeness. Coffee serves as a remedy, yet soft water may dilute that remedy to a point of dissatisfaction. Excessively hard water can dull the vibrancy by interacting with flavorful acids. Water rich in minerals has the ability to bind with specific compounds in coffee, particularly the acids that enhance a vibrant, effervescent flavor. Rather than a vibrant, transparent cup, one might opt for something more muted and weighty, as though the initial flavors have been softened. Hard water may impart a chalky sensation in the mouth and can lead to scale buildup in kettles and espresso machines, which alters temperature and flow as time progresses. The mechanical impact transforms into a flavor impact, as the process of brewing relies on consistent heat and pressure. Often, the beans are blamed when such occurrences arise, but the true source of the issue may lie with the tap. A coffee intended to evoke flavors of citrus or berries may instead present a subdued profile of cocoa and bitterness, as the water pulls the essence downward. Cafes regard water with utmost seriousness. For this reason, they adjust it to maintain its brilliance, while also drawing out its sweetness. Quality water allows a coffee to truly express itself. The sound of overly hard water resonates, akin to a melody echoing through a dense barrier. A bloom releases trapped gas, enhancing the interaction between water and coffee. As a small amount of water is poured over fresh grounds, a puffing, bubbling rise often becomes visible. Carbon dioxide escapes as the grounds first become wet. In the absence of a bloom, gas pockets can hinder water from accessing certain surfaces, resulting in some portions of the coffee not fully engaging in the extraction process. Blooming represents a brief moment that enhances equity. This process allows the brew to achieve uniform saturation, enabling subsequent pours to yield a more consistent extraction. The bloom reveals a narrative. A vibrant bloom typically indicates more recent roasting or grinding, whereas a subdued bloom may imply older coffee or a very dark roast that exhibits distinct characteristics. Some brewers engage in swirling or stirring during the bloom phase to ensure that all particles are adequately wetted, while excessive agitation may lead to complications. Flourishing is not merely a practice for its own benefit. This approach ensures that the bed operates with greater consistency. It transforms the initial moments of brewing into a preparatory stage, akin to unlocking a door before stepping inside. Paper filters capture oils, resulting in a purer cup and smoother mouthfeel. The flavorful oils found in coffee contribute to its richness. However, those very oils can also render a cup feeling dense or murky. Paper filters capture numerous elements, along with minuscule particles that might otherwise find their way into the beverage. The outcome frequently presents itself with enhanced clarity and vibrancy, showcasing flavors that are more readily discernible. This is one reason why pour-over coffee can have such a distinct flavor, even when made from the same beans as a French press. The influence of paper extends to aroma as well. By selectively retaining certain heavier compounds, it can highlight the delicate lighter notes that rise from the cup. Various studies yield varying outcomes as well. Some contribute a hint of their own flavor if thoroughly rinsed. When left unattended, others may develop a subtle papery quality. The thickness of the filter influences the flow rate, which subsequently impacts the extraction process. Thus, an ordinary sheet of paper transforms into a subtle marvel of engineering. It influences the texture, clarity, and balance, transforming the same coffee into a distinctly different experience, while leaving everything else unchanged. Metal filters allow oils to flow through, resulting in a richer texture for the coffee. A metal filter functions as a broad entrance rather than a delicate mesh. It allows a greater flow of natural coffee oils and fine particles into the cup, instantly transforming the experience. The texture evolves into a denser experience, occasionally resembling a creamy sensation. Even in the absence of milk, flavors may take on a fuller and deeper quality, with the aftertaste extending its presence on the palate. This explains why the identical beans can present a brighter and cleaner flavor when filtered through paper, while offering a richer and weightier experience when brewed with metal. It encompasses more than just flavor. The essence lies in texture, which influences what captures your brain's attention. A great number of individuals find solace in metal-filtered coffee, particularly when using immersion brewers and various reusable filter systems. Some individuals lean towards paper for its sharp and clear presentation. Neither holds greater correctness. There exist two distinct interpretations of the same roasted seed, akin to experiencing a song through speakers as opposed to headphones. Cold brew extracts gradually, frequently, diminishing the perceived acidity and sharpness. The smoothness of cold brew arises from the unique way cold water interacts with coffee chemistry, moving at a different pace. The sharp, bright sensations typically linked to hot coffee become less prominent, allowing deeper notes such as cocoa and toasted sweetness to emerge more prominently. The lengthy steep extracts a significant amount of soluble material, allowing the beverage to possess strength without an overpowering flavor. There exists a subtle yet profound intensity. It also alters the way aroma interacts. The coldness of the drink results in fewer aromatic compounds being released into the air, leading to a flavor that may seem softer and more subdued until it warms on the palate. Cold brew concentrate introduces an additional dimension of versatility. It can be diluted with water, enhanced with milk, or served over ice, all while maintaining its essential nature. When executed properly, it transforms into an entirely different drink. It's more than merely cold coffee. The extraction unfolds gradually, transforming time into a journey of flavors. Iced coffee and cold brew are distinct, as one is prepared using hot brewing methods. Iced coffee begins with hot water, which swiftly extracts aromas and vibrant notes. Then the brew is rapidly cooled. The chosen method preserves the vibrant, high-toned flavors that coffee enthusiasts cherish, even when served over ice. Cold brew follows a different path. It starts off chilly and remains so, resulting in a more refined character with diminished harshness. The contrast can be striking, even when using the same beans. Iced coffee offers a crisp and vivid flavor, whereas cold brew presents a round and chocolatey profile. The brewing choices also influence the way dilution is managed. When ice melts excessively, hot brewed coffee may lose its richness and become diluted. Numerous individuals prepare it with greater intensity or cool it prior to serving. Cold brew is typically concentrated from the beginning, allowing it to manage ice with greater ease. 2 cold drinks, each with its own unique narrative. Espresso is indeed concentrated, yet it frequently contains less caffeine per serving. Espresso strikes like a bolt, delivering an intensity that resonates through its rich flavor and texture. The shot is petite, the fragrance is robust, and the flavor comes swiftly. Caffeine, however, extends beyond mere concentration. It is also about the magnitude. An espresso serving is notably smaller than a full mug of brewed coffee, which can result in a lower total caffeine content despite the drink's stronger flavor. This astonishes individuals due to the immense sensory effect it creates. Espresso possesses a unique rhythm all its own. It is consumed swiftly, leading to an experience that seems to take hold right away. The ritual plays a significant role as well. The grinding echoed softly, a warm cup cradled in hands, a quick sip taken at the bar. Everything around you signals to your mind, it's time to awaken. Espresso serves as a reminder that the intensity of flavor and the amount of caffeine are not measured by the same standards. One explores the extent of dissolution with each sip. The other concerns the overall amount you consume. Drip coffee has the potential to contain higher caffeine levels, as individuals tend to consume larger quantities. A standard drip cup may appear unremarkable, yet it possesses the ability to provide a more substantial caffeine boost, owing to its larger volume. The process allows water to extract caffeine from the grounds more effectively, resulting in a greater volume of liquid consumed. That combination holds significance. It also clarifies how individuals may feel perfectly fine after a single espresso, yet become jittery after consuming a large brewed coffee. The beverage need not possess an intense flavor to deliver its strength. Drip coffee often presents a mellow flavor profile, particularly when brewed with a medium roast and a paper filter, while still delivering a notable caffeine kick. The serving size often remains an overlooked factor that many labels fail to highlight clearly. A small cafe may hold more than what you typically pour at home, and the refills subtly increase the overall amount. This is the reason caffeine conversations may lead to confusion. While individuals often assess beverages based on their style, the true evaluation ought to begin with the quantity that ultimately fills the cup. For many individuals, caffeine reaches its highest concentration in the bloodstream within approximately 1 hour. Caffeine does not function like a simple on-off mechanism. Once coffee is consumed, it travels through the digestive system and makes its way into the bloodstream, with its effects gradually increasing over time. For numerous individuals, levels often rise to a peak within approximately an hour, which explains why the complete effect may be felt after the cup has been finished. The timing may vary due to factors like food, hydration, and personal biology, resulting in 2 individuals drinking together experiencing the uplift at distinct times. This postponed climax also clarifies a frequent error. A person hastily consumes a second cup, believing the first had no effect, only to find both waves crashing upon them in quick succession. The body perceives this as an abrupt rush. Grasping the arc can render the experience of coffee more foreseeable. It is not solely about what you consume. It is during the act of drinking it and the processes occurring within your body as it absorbs the substance. Coffee serves as a drink, but it unfolds like a narrative through time. The influence of your genes on caffeine clearance alters the duration of its alertness effects. 2 friends may sip the same coffee yet find themselves in entirely separate realms once the moment passes. One experiences a sense of clarity and well-being. The other remains awake, deep into the night. One significant factor is genetics. The liver's enzymes are responsible for breaking down caffeine, and the genetic variations that influence these enzymes differ among individuals. Certain bodies process caffeine at a rapid pace. Some individuals take their time to clear it, resulting in a prolonged stimulating effect. This distinction has the potential to influence enduring behaviors. Those who metabolize quickly might enjoy a cup of coffee after dinner and still find themselves sleeping soundly. Individuals with a slower metabolism might benefit from adhering to a morning-only guideline. Genetics is not the sole consideration. Factors such as age, pregnancy, specific medications, and general liver health can also influence clearance. Nevertheless, the genetic aspect serves as a significant hint for understanding why the guidance appears to vary. When one claims that coffee never disrupts their sleep, they might genuinely be reflecting their biological reality. Your connection to caffeine is etched in your very being, long before you ever sip your first latte. Caffeine inhibits adenosine receptors, resulting in a diminished perception of fatigue signals. As the day unfolds, the mind accumulates the weight of sleepiness. Adenosine is a molecule that plays a significant role in that pressure. It binds to receptors, contributing to the heavy, ready-for-rest sensation. Caffeine occupies those receptors without triggering them, thereby diminishing the signal that indicates fatigue is setting in. The crucial point to note is that caffeine does not alleviate sleep pressure. It conceals the intensity of your emotions. This explains why a crash may occur later, particularly after prolonged wakefulness. Once caffeine is metabolized, adenosine can bind again, and the tiredness that had been waiting can swiftly return. This also clarifies why coffee can seem so impactful, even before it provides a sense of energy. It does not always involve the infusion of energy. It is often disheartening that the illusion of exhaustion persists. Your thoughts seem more focused now that a constraint has been removed. The body remains unchanged, yet the dashboard's warming light has faded. Coffee can influence sleep patterns, even when consumed early in the day, due to its potentially lengthy half-life. The body experiences a gradual reduction in caffeine levels over time, as it possesses a half-life that dictates this process. For numerous adults, that half-life may extend over several hours, and for certain individuals, it can be even longer. This is why an afternoon cup can linger into bedtime, even when a sense of calm envelops you. Sleep may become more fragile. It might take longer to drift off, or you could find yourself waking more readily. The challenging aspect lies in the potential disconnect between cause and effect, as the coffee was consumed hours earlier, and the day unfolded in a seemingly ordinary manner. Timing frequently holds greater significance than sheer strength. A small coffee late can hold greater significance than a stronger coffee early. Individuals who claim that coffee has no impact on their sleep might be assessing it based on the speed at which they drift off, but the quality of sleep can change subtly. For those seeking coffee and restful sleep, the most straightforward solution lies in establishing an earlier cutoff time that aligns with their body's natural rhythm. The bitterness of coffee arises from particular compounds, and the roasting process alters which of these compounds take precedence. The bitterness found in coffee cannot be reduced to just one singular flavor. A symphony of elements ebbs and flows as warmth transforms the bean. In the early stages of roasting, the beans reveal some bitter notes stemming from their inherent chemistry. As the roasting process continues, deeper layers emerge, revealing new bitter compounds, while others transform into a variety of distinct flavors. That is why bitterness can present itself as clean and cocoa-like in one cup, while in another, it may come across as harsh and ashy. The brewing process also determines the way bitterness manifests itself. A well-balanced extraction allows bitterness to serve as a framework. Much like how dark chocolate enhances sweetness, an uneven extraction can render bitterness intense and persistent, particularly when the brew is overwhelmed by very fine particles. Considering bitterness as a tool rather than a flaw can provide a fresh perspective. Roasters and brewers can strive for a bitterness that feels purposeful rather than unintended. When it is right, it imparts depth and contrast to the coffee, highlighting the sweetness through comparison. The acidity of coffee represents a brightness in flavor, transcending the mere measurement of pH. When individuals describe a coffee as acidic, they are typically referring to its vibrant and lively taste, as refreshing as a burst of citrus or the crunch of a fresh apple. That feeling differs significantly from assessing acidity using a pH meter. Coffee may share a comparable pH across various styles, yet its brightness can vary dramatically in flavor. The distinction lies in the specific acids that are present, the way they harmonize with sweetness, and the manner in which roasting and brewing reveal them. A vibrant cup can evoke a sense of cleanliness and rejuvenation, particularly when the sweetness follows closely after the glimmer. An inadequately brewed cup may present a sour taste, offering a distinct experience. The sourness frequently arises from under-extraction, preventing the sweetness and richer flavors from fully permeating the drink. This explains why the same coffee may present a sharp flavor one day and a beautifully bright one the next, influenced by factors such as grind, water temperature, and time. Brightness presents itself as a distinctive flavor profile, emerging as one of the most thrilling characteristics of coffee. The tongue detects sweetness and bitterness, yet it is the aroma that imparts the majority of flavor. When one pinches their nose and takes a sip of coffee, the beverage may appear oddly unremarkable. The lingering notes of bitterness, sweetness, and acidity dance on the tongue, yet the distinct essence of the coffee begins to slip away. This is due to the fact that a significant portion of what we refer to as flavor is actually aroma, making its way to the nose from the back of the mouth during swallowing. Coffee possesses a remarkable richness in aromatic signals, as the roasting process generates numerous volatile compounds that readily evaporate. This explains how a coffee can evoke flavors of berries, nuts, or flowers, despite lacking any of those ingredients. The brain engages in a fascinating process, aligning familiar scents with past experiences. The significance of grind size extends beyond mere extraction. Grinding releases aroma swiftly, which explains why whole beans emit a subtler scent compared to freshly ground coffee. The brewing method also contributes significantly. Certain techniques capture the aroma beneath a layer of foam or a lid, whereas others allow it to ascend right away. In coffee, the aroma plays a significant role, even when one believes they are solely focused on the taste. The aroma fades away with a cold, leaving coffee to taste unexpectedly bland. A blocked nose impacts more than just the act of breathing. It closes off the primary route that conveys the essence of coffee. When the aroma is diminished, coffee may come across as dull, harsh, or lacking depth, regardless of how flawlessly it is brewed. Individuals frequently point fingers at the beans, the water, or the brewer. However, the crucial element that remains absent is sensory access. The tongue continues to fulfill its role, allowing one to detect bitterness and a hint of acidity. Yet it is the aromatic qualities that predominantly bring the coffee to life. This can serve as a valuable experiment, even in times of good health. Experience the coffee, then cover your nose and savor it once more. The contrast can seem quite striking. It unveils the extent to which coffee is perceived through the air, transcending mere liquid experience. It also clarifies the reason the aroma during brewing feels so intense. When one can fully experience the aroma, coffee reveals its many layers. When one cannot, it transforms into a more straightforward beverage. The cup remained the same, yet the way you received information transformed. The chemistry of coffee transforms with the addition of milk, as proteins interact with specific bitter molecules. Incorporating milk does more than just introduce creaminess. It transforms the experience for your taste buds. Milk proteins have the ability to attach to specific compounds that add bitterness and astringency, resulting in a coffee that feels smoother and more rounded. Fat influences the mouthfeel, imparting a weight and softness to the drink that water alone fails to deliver. This explains how a coffee with the boldness of espresso can achieve a harmonious flavor profile when transformed into a latte. The milk transcends mere dilution. It is transforming it. The temperature plays a crucial role, as warm milk enhances the sweetness, whereas overheated milk may take on a cooked flavor, diminishing the freshness of the cup. Various types of milk exhibit distinct behaviors due to the differences in their protein and fat content. Thus, the same espresso can present a sharp flavor with one selection and a silky smoothness with another. This chemistry embodies the allure of coffee culture. A single shot transforms into a multitude of drinks, each possessing its unique texture and balance, as milk engages with the compounds inherent in the brew. Sugar has the ability to conceal bitterness, while simultaneously enhancing the perception of aroma. Sweetness transcends mere sweetness. It transforms your perceptions. With the addition of sugar, the perception of bitterness diminishes, allowing other flavors to emerge more prominently. Numerous individuals find that coffee unexpectedly takes on a more aromatic quality, despite the fact that the aromatic compounds remain unchanged. The shift lies in the focus. The brain shifts its attention away from harsh signals, allowing it to perceive more delicate flavors, such as cocoa, spice, or fruit. Sugar can influence mouthfeel by imparting a sense of fullness to the liquid, thereby enhancing the richness of the coffee. The quantity holds significance. A subtle hint can enhance the flavor, whereas an abundance can overwhelm and transform the entire dish into something sweet. Culture holds significance as well. In certain regions, sweet coffee serves as a comforting tradition, embodying warmth rather than yielding to compromise. The intriguing aspect is that sweetness transcends mere taste. It serves as a catalyst for perception, capable of transforming the entire experience of the drink, much like altering the ambiance of a room with different lighting. In small quantities, salt has the ability to diminish bitterness by changing how we perceive taste. Salt is renowned for enhancing the flavor of food, and coffee is no different when applied with care. In minimal quantities, salt has the ability to soften the perception of bitterness, allowing a harsh cup to feel more refined without imparting a salty flavor. This is not enchantment. It is the essence of biology. Salt ions influence how signals are processed, and the balance between bitter and other tastes can shift. It resembles the way a dash of salt can enhance the richness of chocolate. The essence lies in moderation. Excessive salt spoils the beverage and makes its presence known right away. A tiny amount can act like a quiet editor, softening rough edges so sweetness and aroma become easier to notice. Some people use this trick for over-extracted coffee, and some use it to make instant coffee more pleasant. It is also a reminder that coffee is a sensory experience, not just chemistry. Your tongue and brain are part of the recipe, and seasoning can guide what they hear. Coffee has antioxidants, but the amounts depend on roast and brew. Coffee is not only caffeine and aroma. It also carries a range of compounds that can act as antioxidants, including chlorogenic acids and other polyphenols. The interesting part is that roasting changes this landscape. Some antioxidants decrease as heat breaks them down, while other new compounds form that can also contribute antioxidant activity. Brewing choices matter too. Contact time, temperature, and filtration influence what ends up in the cup. A longer brew can pull more soluble compounds, while a paper filter can remove certain oily components. This does not turn coffee into a medicine, and it does not make every cup identical. It makes coffee a moving target, shaped by agriculture, roasting, and brewing. For a listener, the wonder is that a familiar drink contains a hidden chemical library that shifts with craft. Two cups can taste different, and their antioxidant profiles can differ too, simply because of how they were made. Coffee is a beverage, yet it is also a chemistry story that keeps changing. Coffee contains oils called diterpenes, and filters can reduce them. Some of coffee's natural oils include diterpenes, such as cafester and cahuayol. These contribute to flavor and texture, and they are part of why unfiltered coffee can feel rich and substantial. The brewing method decides how much of these oils reach your cup. Paper filters trap a significant portion, while metal filters and methods like French press allow more through. This difference is not just academic. It is one reason a paper-filtered brew can taste cleaner, and a French press can taste fuller and more coating. These oils also carry aroma, so they can change how long fragrance lingers after a sip. People often think of filters as a simple convenience, yet they act like a chemical gatekeeper. They decide which compounds travel onward and which stay behind with the grounds. It is another example of coffee's quiet complexity. A small equipment choice can change the drink's texture, taste, balance, and even the chemical profile you consume. Instant coffee is brewed first, then dehydrated into crystals or powder. Instant coffee begins life as real brewed coffee, just made at an industrial scale, and then turned into something shelf-stable. Producers extract a strong liquid, concentrate it, and remove the water so the flavor solids remain. Two common approaches are spray drying and freeze drying. Spray drying turns liquid into a mist inside hot air, and the droplets dry in flight. Freeze drying starts colder, and it protects more delicate aromas by removing ice under low pressure. Either way, the goal is the same. Make a product that dissolves quickly, travels easily, and tastes recognizably like coffee with no grinder or machine. It also solves a challenge coffee has always faced, which is speed. Instant coffee helped bring coffee into places where fresh brewing was hard, from remote work sites to late-night dorm rooms. One spoon can create a cup in seconds, and that convenience has shaped global coffee habits. Freeze drying preserves aroma better. Because it avoids high heat, freeze drying starts by brewing coffee, then freezing it into a solid sheet or granules. From there, the ice is removed by turning it directly into vapor under low pressure. Because the process stays cold, many aromatic compounds are less likely to be damaged or driven off by heat. That matters because aroma is where coffee's personality lives. When a freeze-dried instant coffee smells more vivid than you expected, this is often why. The method is also slow and equipment-heavy, which is why freeze-dried instant tends to cost more than spray-dried. Yet it offers something that feels almost magical. It can capture a snapshot of brewed coffee and store it for later with surprisingly little loss. For travelers and busy mornings, it can feel like carrying a small piece of a cafe in your pocket. It also reminds you that coffee is not only agriculture and roasting, it is food science, using pressure and phase changes to protect flavor. Espresso was popularized by machines and engineering-shaped cafe culture. Espresso is inseparable from the machine that makes it. Once engineers learned how to push hot water through compacted coffee using pressure, a new kind of drink became possible, fast, concentrated, and repeatable. That speed changed cafe rhythm. Instead of waiting for a pot to finish, a bar could serve drink after drink on demand, each one made to order. Machines also created a new craft. Baristas began to think like technicians, watching flow, managing temperature, and tuning grind with precision. The cafe became a place where technology and hospitality met on the counter. Even the soundscape changed. Grinding, steaming, and the click of a portafilter became part of the atmosphere. Espresso machines did not simply improve coffee, they changed how people gathered, how long they stayed, and what they expected from a cup served in public. In many cities, the machine became a cultural symbol, a signal that coffee could be both quick and ceremonial. The word coffee traveled languages, reflecting its global journey. The name itself is a map. As coffee moved across regions, people shaped the sound to fit their own tongues, carrying a recognizable core while changing the edges. You can hear a family resemblance between words like tower, cove, calf, cafe, and coffee, even though each language gives it a different rhythm. That similarity tells you something simple and profound. The drink spread through contact, trade, and conversation, not in isolation. A word only travels when people are using it with other people. The shifting pronunciation also shows how coffee became local. A borrowed word can become a native one, attached to new rituals and new meanings. In one place, it signals a short, strong cup. In another, it points to a long social visit. When you say the word today, you are echoing centuries of movement. The sound carries merchants, sailors, marketplaces, and kitchen tables, Coffee is global history tucked into 4 syllables. Coffee reached Europe through ports, then spread with new social rituals. Ports are where goods become habits. Bags of beans arrived alongside spices, textiles, and news. And curious drinkers turned a foreign product into a daily practice. In many European cities, coffee first lived in places where travelers and locals crossed paths near docks, markets, and busy streets. From there, it moved inland, carried by entrepreneurs who saw that people wanted more than a drink. They wanted a setting for it. Coffee invited a new kind of pause in the day, one that did not require a meal or a celebration. It could be a brief stop or a long conversation. Different cities built their own customs, from standing at a counter to lingering at a table. The ritual adapted to climate, class, and local taste. Sugar, milk, and pastry culture shifted alongside it. What began as cargo became routine. A port delivered beans. Then the city invented a new way to spend time. In some places, coffee was banned briefly because authorities feared gatherings. When people gather, ideas gather too. In certain times and places, leaders worried that coffee houses created space for criticism, rumor, and organizing. Coffee itself was not the only concern. The concern was the room it brought into existence, full of talk that could not be easily supervised. So bans appeared, sometimes framed as moral rules, sometimes as public order. They were often temporary, because demand did not disappear. People found ways around restrictions, and the drink kept returning, pulled back by habit and by the simple appeal of a warm cup in company. These bans are fascinating because they reveal coffee's social power. A beverage became politically interesting, not because it was rare, but because it was shared. When a government tries to regulate where people sit and speak, it is admitting that conversation matters. Coffee did not win by force. It won by being useful, pleasant, and hard to replace as a social glue. Coffee houses offered affordable warmth, making them early third places. A third place is neither home nor work. It is a spot where you can exist among others without having to host them or answer to them. Coffee houses became that for many people because they offered light, heat, and a reason to stay for the price of a cup. For someone living in a crowded room or working long hours, that mattered. It created breathing room in the day. You could read, write, listen, or simply be near other humans. This function is easy to overlook if you think cafes are only about taste. They are also about shelter and permission. Even today, a cafe can feel like a small public living room with its own unspoken rules and rhythms. The drink is the ticket, but the true product is space. That is why coffee houses appear in so many cities across so many cultures. They solve a basic human problem, which is where to go when you do not want to be alone and you do not want to perform. Some of the first stock discussions happened over coffee, not in offices. Early finance needed trust, and trust often grows in regular meeting places. Coffee houses provided a dependable setting where merchants could compare shipping reports, prices, and risk face to face. A public room made private promises feel safer because reputations were on display. If someone spoke carelessly, the room remembered. If someone proved reliable, the room amplified it. This is one way commerce becomes social. Information moved by conversation, not by screens. And coffee kept people alert enough to track details. The drink also made long discussions more comfortable, since it offered a reason to sit and continue. Over time, networks formed. Individuals were aware of the best places to seek out the appropriate company for specific types of transactions. While coffee houses did not create finance, they played a significant role in its public organization. It is a remarkable notion. In a contemporary trading landscape, the origins lie in simple cups and commonplace tables, where conversations transformed into figures, and those figures evolved into choices. The narrative unfolds, revealing how coffee has driven extended work hours, transforming labor dynamics over the ages. The role of coffee in the workplace intertwines both chemical influences and cultural significance. A comforting caffeinated beverage enhances concentration and provides a well-deserved pause that seamlessly integrates into a hectic routine. With the widespread availability of coffee, it played a crucial role in extending hours in environments where being alert was essential, ranging from workshops to offices. It also transformed the appearance of a break. Rather than halting solely for meals, individuals might take short breaks to hydrate before resuming their activities. The pattern extended its reach into factories, schools, and eventually into the realm of corporate life. Coffee transformed into a means of time management rather than merely a source of enjoyment. It evolved into a symbol of identity. The morning cup marked the beginning of the day. The afternoon cup marked a testament to perseverance. The transition reveals a deeply personal aspect. It links coffee to aspirations, stress, and efficiency. As one cradles a cup on a weekday morning, they grasp a fragment of industrial and social history, molded by an enduring aspiration to persevere. The culture surrounding coffee varies significantly across different places, ranging from small cups to large mugs. The same seed gives rise to a multitude of distinct traditions. In certain locales, coffee is presented in small, concentrated servings, intended to be consumed swiftly. For some, it takes the form of a substantial beverage, designed to endure throughout a journey or a gathering. The distinction extends beyond mere dimensions. It is perspective. In certain cultures, coffee is regarded as a brief ritual, governed by specific rules. Some view it as a versatile partner, one that offers limitless possibilities for personalization. The manner of serving reflects the essence of local life. Trimac holds significance, as warmer regions typically prefer chilled options, while cooler areas might gravitate towards warmth. Food traditions hold significance, as coffee complements pastries in one area, while harmonizing with savory snacks in another. Even societal norms evolve. One cafe encourages dialogue among strangers, while another fosters solitude and the comfort of headphones. The variety present is a key factor that keeps coffee captivating. It is not a singular beverage enjoyed worldwide. Countless local interpretations of a singular concept emerge, each molded by the influences of history, personal preference, and the cadence of everyday life. Turkish coffee retains its grounds in the cup, resulting in a rich and textured experience. This style is crafted without filtration, allowing the coffee to remain intertwined with the liquid throughout. Finely ground coffee is heated in water, frequently with sugar included during the brewing process, and then poured, allowing the grounds to settle at the bottom. The settling is an integral aspect of the experience. The initial sips may present a velvety and rich experience, whereas the final sips remain undisturbed as the grounds settle into a gentle layer, reminiscent of silt in a riverbed. The drink, unfiltered, retains a multitude of suspended particles, resulting in flavors that are both intense and enduring. The approach, likewise, acknowledges the importance of heat awareness. If it simmers too fiercely, it may acquire a harsh flavor. When warmed with care, it reveals a rounded and aromatic flavor. Turkish coffee serves as a reminder that the process of brewing transcends mere extraction. It encompasses texture, tradition, and the choice to maintain the presence of coffee until the very last moment. The Ethiopian coffee ceremonies highlight the importance of roasting and sharing, taking their time to savor the experience rather than hurrying through the drink. In numerous Ethiopian households, coffee is regarded as more than just a swift drink. It is regarded as an occasion that fosters unity. The green beans are frequently roasted in the room, allowing the scent to weave into the fabric of the gathering, as all present partake in that initial rush of fragrance. The roasted beans are ground and brewed, resulting in coffee served in small cups, while conversation flows seamlessly around the table. The ceremony captivates with its remarkable pace. It invites individuals to remain, to engage fully, and to allow the beverage to serve as a catalyst for connection, rather than merely a means to enhance productivity. The process ensures that coffee remains connected to its roots, as Ethiopia is celebrated as the original home of Coffea Arabica. In that regard, the ceremony serves as a vibrant connection, linking the past to the present. The experience of coffee transcends mere taste. It envelops one in the carefully crafted social environment that transforms a simple plant into a collective experience. Italian espresso bars encourage swift sips, prioritizing brevity over lingering moments. Throughout much of Italy, the culture surrounding espresso thrives on a sense of urgency and cadence. Individuals frequently approach the bar, place their orders, consume their drinks, and swiftly continue on their way, all in a matter of moments. Standing is an integral aspect of the design. It maintains the cafe as a series of fleeting interactions, rather than a space filled with prolonged visits. This influences the beverage itself. The espresso arrives, steaming, compact, and poised for a mindful experience, frequently accompanied by a swift glass of water. The barista emerges as a constant figure, while the patrons cultivate connections through their habitual visits. A sense of democracy permeates the atmosphere. A brief pause at the bar seamlessly integrates into nearly any day, allowing espresso to transform into a collective daily tradition among diverse individuals. It serves as a pause, a moment of reflection, much like punctuation in a sentence, a moment of stillness, a fresh beginning, and then stepping back into the street with renewed clarity. Light roasts from Scandinavia emphasize a bright acidity, frequently accompanied by leisurely dialogue. In numerous Scandinavian coffee scenes, the celebration of lighter roasting shines through, as it preserves the brightness and delicate aromatics for all to appreciate. The cup presents a crisp sensation, occasionally reminiscent of tea, encouraging one to observe subtle nuances rather than overwhelming intensity. This aligns with a social approach that frequently appreciates leisurely moments shared in each other's company. The beverage transforms into a companion during an extended conversation, gradually cooling and evolving with each sip. Chillier temperatures can uncover sweetness in a unique manner, and vibrant notes may come across as more distinct when the cup isn't scalding hot. These coffees often offer greater rewards for those who brew with care, as lighter roasts may not be as forgiving when the water temperature is too low or the brewing time is insufficient. When it functions well, the experience can evoke a sense of unexpected grace. It has the potential to question the notion that coffee must consistently have a dark and heavy flavor. Rather, it embodies clarity, akin to a luminous window during winter, infusing conversation with a sense of heightened awareness. Robusta is commonly utilized in Vietnamese coffee, harmoniously complemented by sweetened condensed milk. Vietnam stands as a significant player in the global coffee market, with Robusta being a key ingredient in numerous local beverages. Robusta offers a robust bitterness and a rich body, creating a perfect pairing with sweetened condensed milk. The milk possesses a thick, sugary quality and is shelf-stable, resulting in a drink that is both bold and reminiscent of dessert. The equilibrium is the essence. The contrast of bitter and sweet, along with heavy and silky, creates a sensation that can be profoundly gratifying, particularly when enjoyed over ice during warm days. The brewing method typically employs a small metal drip filter known as a fin, permitting the coffee to drip gradually into the glass. The gradual drip creates a sense of expectation, intensifying the flavor before it combines with the milk. The transformation of available ingredients into a signature ritual is beautifully exemplified by Vietnamese coffee. It does not seek to replicate the essence of espresso or pour over traditions. It stands as a unique answer to the challenges of climate, history, and flavor, allowing Robusta to embrace a sense of pride rather than feeling inferior. Coffee cocktails come into being as the interaction between caffeine and alcohol reveals intriguing effects. Coffee and alcohol have found companionship in numerous cultures, as their union crafts a unique experience. Alcohol has the ability to ease tension in the body and smooth out social interactions. Caffeine has the ability to enhance focus and alleviate tiredness. In unison, they evoke a sense of alertness and celebration, which explains the presence of coffee cocktails following dinner, during festivities, and within the vibrant nightlife. The combination of flavors holds significance as well. The essence of coffee unfolds with its bitterness, roast, and rich aroma, harmonizing beautifully with sweet liqueurs and creamy elements. It may also enhance the richness of darker spirits that possess caramel and vanilla undertones from the aging process. Drinks such as Irish coffee gained fame for their ability to evoke warmth and vibrancy, resembling a dessert that comes alive. One must also heed an important caution. Experiencing a reduction in fatigue does not equate to a decrease in impairment, as caffeine may conceal drowsiness while failing to diminish the impact of alcohol on coordination and decision-making. The allure of coffee cocktails lies in their dual nature, intertwining perception and taste, demonstrating how two potent elements can transform the atmosphere of a space. The flavors of coffee can resonate with those of fruit, as the beans possess compounds similar to those found in berries. It may seem unlikely that coffee could evoke memories of blueberries, strawberries, or citrus, but chemistry renders it plausible. The aromatic compounds of coffee and fruits intertwine, allowing the nose to detect familiar patterns, even when the origins differ. The compounds can be emphasized through the conditions in which they are grown, the choices made during processing, and the style of roasting applied. A lightly roasted coffee from a high-elevation region may evoke aromas that the mind categorizes as fruity, despite the fact that one is consuming a roasted seed. This explains why tasting notes can seem remarkably precise, and also why they may differ from one individual to another. You are not experiencing actual berries. Overlapping aromatic signatures are being detected and matched to memory. The process can amplify this effect, particularly as the sugars from the fruit and the fermentation play a role in enhancing the aromatic qualities. The outcome may yield a cup that is vibrant and surprising, akin to uncovering an unexpected link between two ingredients you never imagined could coexist in the same phrase. One of the most delightful tricks of coffee unfolds in the unseen realm of molecules. Coffee, intriguingly, is botanically linked to gardenias, sharing a common lineage. When one considers coffee as a distinct universe, it becomes essential to acknowledge its familial connections. Coffee is part of a vast plant family known as Rubiaceae, with one of its most recognized members being the gardenia. That connection holds deeper significance. It suggests the reason behind coffee's ability to generate such rich aromas, as numerous plants within this family excel at producing fragrant compounds. It serves as a reminder that coffee is not merely a product of industrial innovation. It is a flowering plant, accompanied by its evolutionary relatives that thrive in gardens and hedges. As coffee blooms, the delicate white flowers emit a surprisingly sweet fragrance, enchanting those familiar only with the roasted bean. The perfume embodies a rich botanical heritage. The next time the aroma of coffee fills the air, envision the diverse family of plants that have been honing their scents for eons, each contributing uniquely, nurtured by sun and rain. The coffee plants possess the ability to mutate, leading to the emergence of new varieties that showcase unique cup profiles. Coffee varieties emerge from more than just breeding programs. At times, nature weaves an unexpected chapter into the narrative. A mutation may manifest as an atypical leaf shape, an altered growth pattern, or cherries that ripen in a somewhat distinct manner. A tree may catch the attention of farmers in the field, prompting them to propagate it if the plant thrives. As time passes, that one distinction may evolve into a recognized variety, complete with its own esteemed reputation. The intriguing aspect lies in how a minor genetic alteration can resonate through the realm of taste. One variety may exhibit a floral and light character. Another could evoke a sweeter or more aromatic sensation. The variations may not be present in every cup, but they can be remarkable when the processes of farming and roasting are executed with precision. Mutations serve as a testament to the vitality of coffee, highlighting its ongoing evolution, even as it transforms into a global commodity. Every new variety represents a vibrant exploration of possibilities. This presents an opportunity for the plant to adapt to its surroundings and for humans to uncover a flavor that has yet to be experienced. Certain varieties exhibit resistance to leaf rust, a disease capable of wreaking havoc on farms. In coffee-growing regions, leaf rust stands as one of the most dreaded threats. It disperses via spores, leaving behind powdery orange marks on leaves, and has the potential to weaken a plant to the point where yields may fail. For farmers, it may signify a year of labor with minimal results to display. In response, plant breeders and producers have taken action by creating and embracing varieties that exhibit enhanced resistance. The struggle extends beyond mere crop preservation. It has the potential to lessen reliance on chemical controls and enhance farming stability in areas with scarce resources. Yet there exists a certain tension here as well. A variety that resists rust must also deliver on flavor, or else the market will not recognize the value of this change. Thus, the endeavor transforms into a delicate equilibrium between existence and excellence. When one drinks coffee from a farm that has endured rust pressure, they are tasting a crop that is not merely grown, it is upheld, modified, and contended for, year after year. The shift in climate poses a significant risk to coffee-growing areas, forcing suitable regions to move to higher elevations. The cultivation of coffee is intricately linked to the nuances of temperature and the timing of rainfall. As average temperatures increase and weather patterns grow more erratic, certain regions face greater challenges in cultivating high-quality coffee. Heat stress has the potential to diminish the success of flowering. Pests have the potential to spread into unfamiliar territories, while droughts or heavy rainfall may occur at inopportune times. Numerous forecasts indicate a transformation in the regions suitable for coffee cultivation, frequently moving toward elevated areas where the climate stays cooler. What may seem straightforward is, in reality, quite complex. The mountains offer a confined expanse. The intricacies of land use are multifaceted. Farms often remain stationary, and communities are deeply rooted in their locations. This highlights the pressing need for innovative approaches to climate adaptation in coffee. The farmers engaged in various experiments, exploring shade systems, new varieties, irrigation strategies, and alternative harvest timings. For drinkers, coffee transcends mere flavor. It embodies a narrative of climate significance. Each cup connects to terrains that are being transformed by climate and precipitation. And the fate of coffee hinges on the ability of individuals to adapt while preserving their means of survival. Farmers engage in selective picking, as unripe cherries possess a sharply astringent flavor. Astringency refers to the drying, puckering sensation that can render a cup feeling coarse. In coffee, it frequently originates from cherries that were harvested prematurely. Unripe fruit often contains more intense compounds and a less pronounced sweetness, and this imbalance can persist through every subsequent stage. This is the significance of selective picking. Expert pickers select cherries based on their color and texture, intentionally leaving the greener fruit for subsequent harvests. The choice made can determine whether the cup offers a delightful sweetness and clarity, or presents a sensation that is tight and scratchy against the tongue. The narrative of selective picking unfolds as a tale of labor. It requires dedication, patience, and meticulous oversight. It demands a greater investment and requires more from all participants. It stands as one of the most straightforward methods for a farm to enhance quality, as it begins with the selection of the appropriate raw material. When one experiences a coffee that is smooth and complete, the art of selective picking often stands as one of the unseen factors behind this delightful sensation. The process of coffee grading scrutinizes imperfections, as a single flawed bean has the potential to spoil an entire batch. Prior to its arrival at a roaster, coffee typically undergoes grading and sorting to eliminate any imperfections. A defect may manifest as a bean that has suffered from insect damage, improper fermentation, uneven drying, or breakage during processing. Some flaws are clear to see. Some remain understated until warmth brings them to light. The significance of grading lies in the fact that coffee is prepared collectively. A single defective bean, when roasted among others, can impart undesirable flavors that permeate the entire cup, particularly if the defect carries a potent taste, such as sour fermentation or moldy mustiness. Sorting occurs in layers. Visual inspection is conducted. Density sorting exists. Machines exist to sort by color, yet human hands remain to catch what the machines overlook. The effort is thorough, ensuring that the drinker remains shielded from unexpected experiences. It also safeguards the farmer's hard work. A farm may achieve numerous successes, but a handful of flaws can overshadow the overall outcome. Grading serves as a form of quality control, while simultaneously honoring the journey of work that has brought the coffee to this point. The risk of mycotoxin diminishes through effective drying, proper storage, and stringent quality control measures. Coffee, being an agricultural product, is susceptible to risks from molds when conditions are unfavorable. Compounds known as mycotoxins can be produced by certain molds, particularly when coffee remains excessively moist for extended periods or is kept in humid, warm environments. The comforting aspect is that effective practices significantly diminish this risk. Effective drying reduces moisture to more secure levels. Properly maintained storage prevents beans from taking in moisture again. Through sorting and inspection, visibly damaged beans are eliminated, as they are more susceptible to issues. A multitude of producers, exporters, and importers depend on testing and quality systems, particularly in regulated markets. This is the reason the unremarkable steps hold significance. Drying beds, moisture checks, warehouse conditions, and careful packaging collectively safeguard the integrity of flavor and ensure safety. It serves as yet another reminder that the quality of coffee extends beyond mere taste. It is a matter of process discipline. When those systems function seamlessly, they go unnoticed. One might observe that the coffee possesses a refreshing taste, while the cup exudes a sense of reliability. Coffee grounds have the potential to enhance soil quality, yet they do not serve as a comprehensive fertilizer. Spent coffee grounds seem to hold great potential for gardens. They exude an earthy aroma, resemble compost, and hold organic matter beneficial for soil. When mixed into compost or used with care, grounds can enhance soil texture and foster the growth of microbial life. However, they do not constitute a complete plant food by themselves. The nutrients are not always provided in the correct balance, and when applied too thickly, they may clump together, hindering water movement and restricting air circulation in the soil. Soil conditions can also be altered in various ways depending on the context, particularly when a gardener consistently uses them in the same location. The most effective method considers grounds as just one component among a variety of others. Blend them with leaves, kitchen scraps, and various compost materials, allowing the pile to undergo a transformation into a stable soil amendment. It brings a sense of fulfillment to consider how a morning drink can reconnect with the earth. Yet, akin to many natural cycles, it thrives on the principle of balance. Blends offer a uniform flavor throughout the year, effectively balancing the variations that come with seasonal crops. The harvesting of coffee unfolds in waves around the globe, with each harvest presenting its own unique characteristics. The rain shifts, temperatures fluctuate, and with each crop year, subtle changes in sweetness and brightness emerge. A blend serves as a reliable anchor. Roasters blend coffees that enhance one another, ensuring that the final cup maintains a recognizable profile even as one element shifts. A single cup of coffee can add richness and substance. Another could offer elevation and fragrance. A third could provide a seamless touch that unifies all elements cohesively. This explains why numerous cafes establish their identity through a house blend, particularly for milk-based drinks, where harmony is more significant than subtle intricacies. The act of blending embodies creativity. It leans more towards the art of creation than mere replication, demanding a sense of flavor, a measure of patience, and a willingness to refine. A remarkable fusion reveals all its elements without reservation. It seeks to achieve balance. It offers a dependable cup that reflects the shifting seasons without requiring you to pursue those changes each week. Fair trade seeks to enhance conditions, yet the frameworks and effects differ. At its core, it seeks to alleviate the burdens faced by farmers, particularly during times of declining market prices or when buyers wield excessive influence. Numerous fair trade systems encompass standards, audits, and a premium designed to assist producers and community initiatives. Frequently, coffee is distributed via cooperatives, which can enhance negotiation power and assist farmers in resource sharing. However, outcomes vary from place to place. The rules for certification vary. There are costs associated with participation, and not every coffee from a certified farm is marketed under that label. Certain buyers invest beyond the fair trade price, engaging through direct relationships or alternative sustainability initiatives, even without the certification mark. The significant notion is that coffee transcends mere flavor. It represents a series of interconnected agreements. Fair trade represents a method for enhancing that chain, achieving its greatest effectiveness when combined with transparency, a long-term commitment, and genuine consideration of the flow of money and risk within the system. Specialty coffee depends on cupping, a methodical approach to tasting and evaluating quality. Cupping serves as a universal medium for quality, enabling individuals from different nations to engage in meaningful discussions about coffee with a degree of consistency. The arrangement is straightforward, yet methodical. The coffee is ground, then placed in bowls as hot water is poured over it. After a designated period, the tasters disrupt the floating crust, releasing a wave of enticing aroma. They continue to taste as the coffee cools, aware that the shift in temperature alters their perception. Judges carefully consider the fragrance, clarity, sweetness, balance, and aftertaste. They also observe for imperfections that may lessen or alter the flavor. Cupping holds significance as it establishes a sense of calibration. A farmer, a buyer, and a roaster can all experience the same coffee and come to a consensus about its qualities, despite their varying tastes. It represents a significant moment of revelation. A single table can showcase coffees from various regions, allowing one to experience the distinct influences of processing and variety within a single tasting session. Cupping employs slurping to disperse the liquid, enhancing the perception of aroma. Though it may come across as discourteous, this method serves a distinct and meaningful intention. As one slurps, coffee and air intertwine, transforming the liquid into a delicate spray that dances across the tongue and the roof of the mouth. Increased surface contact leads to a heightened perception of flavor. The additional air facilitates the ascent of aromatic compounds into the nose via the back of the throat, where a significant portion of coffee's intricacies is perceived. Slurping cools the liquid just enough, allowing for a safe tasting experience while still embracing the warm aromas. Within the cupping room, a steady hum fills the air as tasters strive to ensure fairness for each sample presented. They seek the identical delivery, the same intensity, and the opportunity to perceive subtle differences. It serves as a reminder that tasting involves active engagement. It is a deliberate act that alters your perception, much like fine-tuning the focus of a camera. The process of coffee tasting involves utilizing a flavor wheel, which outlines the typical sensory notes encountered. Describing coffee can prove challenging, often leading one to rely on ambiguous terms such as strong or smooth. A flavor wheel provides a framework. It begins with wide-ranging classifications, such as fruity, floral, spicy, or nutty. Subsequently, it unfolds into more detailed portrayals that assist individuals in their communication. This holds significance in reality. Farmers and roasters utilize common terminology to communicate about quality and to monitor the impact of processing or roasting modifications on the final cup. Baristas utilize it to steer customers toward coffees that may pique their interest. It also cultivates focus. As one acquires new vocabulary, a heightened awareness begins to unfold. The manner in which a musician perceives harmonies after acquiring the knowledge of what to listen for. The wheel allows each individual to experience their own unique flavor. It provides a framework that allows the conversation to unfold with greater clarity. It has the potential to transform the coffee experience into something more enjoyable. A cup transforms into a miniature enigma. One tastes, compares, and selects words, transforming the drink into an experience that can be distinctly identified. The flavor of coffee can be influenced by the quality of water used, rather than the beans themselves. When a cup presents an unexpectedly briny flavor, one might be inclined to attribute the fault to the roast or the cafe. At times, the true source lies within the water itself. The local supply may have high sodium levels, a poorly adjusted water softener, or specific mineral imbalances that can lead to a salty impression. Even plumbing and storage can influence the experience, particularly if water acquires flavors during its journey to the kettle. Uneven extraction can lead to saltiness as the balance of flavors shifts, making unusual notes more prominent. This is the reason that the process of troubleshooting coffee frequently begins with sampling the water by itself. If the water has an unusual taste, the coffee will amplify it. What brings solace is the realization that the solution may be straightforward. Enhanced filtration, a shift in water quality, or a minor adjustment in maintenance can rejuvenate the coffee experience. A cup filled with saltiness often reveals more than just the essence of beans. It serves as a hint regarding the hidden element. When coffee is over-extracted, it presents a drying and bitter flavor, whereas under-extraction results in a sour and thin taste. Brewing unfolds gradually over time. Various compounds depart from the grounds at distinct intervals, and the cup evolves as the extraction unfolds. When excessive pulling occurs, the subsequent compounds may take over, resulting in a coffee that tastes astringent, harsh, and excessively bitter. When insufficient pulling occurs, the initial acids emerge, lacking the necessary sweetness and depth to balance them, resulting in a cup that may taste sharp, fluid, or empty. The valuable skill is diagnosis. A bitter brew can often transform with a more delicate grind, hotter water, or a touch more steeping time. A cup that is harsh and drying can often be enhanced by using a coarser grind, slightly cooler water, or a shorter brewing time. Minor tweaks hold significance as coffee reacts swiftly. This is also why reliable recipes bring a sense of tranquility. By mastering the dose, grind, and timing, one can purposefully influence the outcome. Extraction is not a matter of chance. It is a collection of levers, and the palate guides the direction in which to pull. A pristine cup starts with spotless tools, as oils can spoil quickly. Coffee leaves behind oils and fine particles on everything it encounters, from grinder burrs to basket walls to carafes. The residues do not remain fresh. As time passes, they undergo oxidation and become stale, with that staleness subtly infiltrating each cup like a lingering haze. The coffee may end up tasting dull, reminiscent of cardboard, or strangely bitter, despite the quality of the beans being top-notch. Grinders hold significant importance, as aged oils can cover fresh grounds even before they come into contact with water. Brewers hold significance as well, for heated surfaces hasten undesirable transformations. The solution is subtle. Regular cleaning is essential, employing methods that align with the equipment, and ensuring thorough rinsing to eliminate any residual cleaner taste. This upgrade in home coffee is often underestimated, yet it comes at a minimal cost compared to investing in new equipment. Well-maintained equipment safeguards the fragrance. It maintains a distinct sweetness. It also enhances the predictability of your brewing, as the remnants from yesterday no longer influence today's cup. Each cup serves as a miniature laboratory, shaped by the passage of time and the influence of temperature. As one brews coffee, they engage in an intricate experiment of extraction, influenced by a multitude of variables. Temperature influences the ability of substances to dissolve. As time progresses, the distance that water can reach into particles transforms. Agitation influences the speed at which fresh water reaches the earth. The very form of the brewer influences the flow, thereby altering what dissolves and at what moment. This explains why two cups, crafted from identical beans, can present themselves as distinct beverages. One could shine brightly and exude a delightful charm. Another could be perceived as either dull or sharp. The chemistry is tangible. It unfolds in your hands. The grind is yours to choose. The duration of the water's presence is entirely in your hands. You determine the temperature and the speed of its movement. Then the senses take in the outcome, one sip at a time. The marvel lies in the fact that the journey is intricate, yet within reach. One does not require a lab coat to guide it. What is required is simply a focus on the matter at hand and an openness to change. Coffee satisfies curiosity, as it embodies chemistry that can be experienced instantly within the confines of a single mug. As the journey through coffee draws to a close, the ideas can rest. Much like the ground settling at the bottom of a cup, they wandered from flowering trees on mountainsides to cherries that ripen at their own pace. The journey of coffee unfolded through the decisions of harvest, the processes of washing and drying, the lively crackle of roasting, and into the delicate science of brewing, where the interplay of grind, water, and heat shapes the final cup. The way aroma guides the experience before a sip touches the tongue was carefully observed. It was observed that paper has the ability to impart a sense of cleanliness to a brew, while metal lends it a richness. They stepped into cafes and kitchens around the world, where coffee transformed into a quick pause at a bar, a slow ceremony shared with others, or a cool glass over ice on a warm day. Amidst the journey, a singular seed underwent transformation, influenced by the elements, artistry, and the passage of time. If you have found pleasure in wandering through these tranquil science tales, you can lend your support to the channel in a modest manner. A simple like, a subscription, or a thoughtful comment contributes to keeping this corner of the internet vibrant and inviting. Should you find yourself still awake, another video awaits you on the screen now. One might select it as a final indulgence or preserve it for a future evening. At this moment, there is nothing more for you to accomplish. Allow your jaw to relax. Allow your shoulders to relax. Allow your breath to discover a gentle, unhurried pace, flowing in and out. When thoughts arise, there is no obligation to pursue them. Even allow them to drift away like steam dissipating from a mug. Breathe slow. Let your body soften into the pillow. Feel the gentle warmth of the day fade away, like steam from a forgotten cup. You are safe. You are calm, wrapped in the quiet rhythm of the night. Sleep deeply. Dream softly. Good night.